Packers are gonna lose on Sunday.
Probably, but I'm still going to win in fantasy because Jordan Love is there.
What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 159. I am your host, Anthony Trapani. I am always joined by a couple or few resident homies. I got all of them tonight. I got Joel Horner, Casey Howard, and Joseph K with me tonight. What up, dudes?
Hi.
Yeah.
Hope your Thanksgiving was good. I hope everybody who celebrated that holiday had a good one. We didn't even give you guys a warning that we weren't doing any episode, but I mean, that's the third year. If you've been with us from the beginning, we've never done the Thanksgiving Thursday. So yeah, we're back though. So,
episode 157, dude.
Are we on one? Oh, what did that? Was that?
In case you can't.
157. What did I say? 159.
Yeah, you're getting excited.
Do you think there's one guy out there? Do you think there's one guy out there? It's like he's all, dude, I thought it was 153. Fuck you, and just like changes it because of the number.
He's like, wait, fuck, I got the wrong blood, dude.
Yeah. No, I'm just surprised at how many we've done of these, and I still fuck up the number. I still fuck up
the number. You should just say it wrong every time now for fun.
Well, I mean,
it's like we're episode 3.
But yeah, anyways, guys, tonight we're joined by an old school homie. This guy's got a lot of history with us. We got Andrew Packer with us tonight. What's going on, dude?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
No problem, dude.
Happy to be here.
For sure, dude. And just to give you guys a little backstory with us and Andrew, I've known Andrew as long as I've known the Odious guys. If you've heard us mention any of the domes, the Thunderdome, the Furniture Dome, Andrew's an alumni of the Thunderdome. He was actually a resident there, renting a room there alongside these guys. And so I'd be hanging out with these guys as much as I'd be hanging out with Andrew. And we had some crazy fun times.
Yeah, I was actually collecting money off Joel and Casey at various times. Renting them out, like kind of under the table. The landlord found out he but I was like, you're about to tear down this whole house anyway. He's like, okay,
that was you. Oh yeah. No, that was smart, dude. There was just quick rundown. It was what was it? It was me and you were in a house, and there was like someone moved out or something. We're like, dude, they moved out and they lowered our rent. And then we rented that room out without them knowing, and then we rented out the garage without them knowing. And we were like, you were like, I was paying like $200 a month, and you were like making money. And like,
yeah, it was fucking awesome. And yeah, we like rented out. I forget. Long Beach moved out. We rented his room to Laura.
Oh,
because they said that's right. Because they were telling us how they were going to tear down the house and build up apartments.
Yep, which they did.
And so they didn't need us to bring in a new roommate to replace Long Beach for the rent. So they cut our rent down to like 2 people. And they're like, we're going to rent out that room anyway. And then we had like 3 Antifa people living in the garage with all their bikes like smashed all over the fucking back driveway and yard. And the landlord called me up. He's like, I see all the bikes back there. I know you got more people living there than just you and Joel.
And I remember the landlord came to the house once, and she was just hammered, and we were like having a party there. She's like, or like, it wasn't even a party. It was like every day it was like probably 8 people would hang out, you know? Yeah. And like there was always just like 20 cars in the driveway, and she's like, dude, sick, dude, 2 people are living here. Like and she like walked in, like broke all, you're a lawyer, so you know, like broke all the rights that we have as like tenants, just like walked in like with a knock and hammered with like a wine glass. And
I know.
Shout out Patty Ratto.
Patty Ratto.
Being an adult right now, dude, thinking about how we were at that house or any other houses that we've partied at, and being like thinking of being the landlord of kids doing what we were doing, it would be a nightmare for me if I was a landlord, dude.
So stressful. It makes sense that they'd want to kick out like, you know, a house that only 3 people are supposed to live in and turn it into apartments for 1 person only, like units. Like, not only are they going to make more money that way, but they don't have to deal with. There's not going to be a big party in one apartment. There's not going to be people renting out like their closet in their tiny little studio for fucking whoever to live in. Yeah. And Casey, I forget you were living on our couch for a while.
Yeah,
but I don't think you were paying rent.
No, I had I had that first year. I had an apartment up in San Francisco with Square, actually, that I live with now, and Aaron from Medieval Times and all that. So we I had that apartment, but I was like never there, especially after I joined Decrepit, because I was like down in Santa Cruz all the time.
Yeah.
And then I was like staying on your guys' couch and hanging and stuff. And then we got the Furniture Dome 2005 summer after that. So I don't know if you guys at that time had already left. No, you guys were still at the
I went straight from the Furniture.
There were
from
two domes at the same time, right?
Yeah, there was
David left the Thunderdome for the
there
Furniture Dome, and that's when
we had
Joel. I almost called you Josh.
Wow, I didn't actually know that until now or forgot about it, that both the domes were existing at the same time. Those timelines overlapped.
The Thunderdome was fucked though, because we made the mistake. I mean, not a mistake. We'd done it in the past, even before I lived there, where it was basically like flyer our immediate neighbors saying, "Hey, there's going to be." It's like when Sleep Terror played their first show there, like Decrepit played one of their first shows there, and we're like, "There's going to be music and stuff. You guys are more than welcome to come. If you have any issues with it, call us," kind of thing. And then we did it for the last time when Mammotus was playing, and and we did that the last time, and then they just forwarded it to the landlord. and it was like 5 o'clock, and remember it was starting at 8.
The cops showed up like as soon as the band. They were there like when the band started.
One song. I think we got one song. Mammotus got one song off, but Patty, I probably shouldn't say her name. Whatever. She called me and she's all, "You guys better not fucking have a concert there." And it was like 5 o'clock, and we had like 150, 200 people coming in like 2 hours, and we're like, "Well, if it's gonna happen, like we'll turn it down. It'll be done at 10. We'll get everyone done." And she's all just cussing me out on the phone. I remember, like, or one of us like on speakerphone or something. We're just like, "Oh shit! Like everyone's already coming. This is not gonna be good, you know." And then it wasn't good.
Did it anyways. And then
and David ended up in jail. And
well, not because of that, but yeah. Anyways, I don't know. But yeah, those were good times.
Well, I mean, you guys were there for a while though, because I remember 2 different years of Halloween parties there. I remember going to 2 different parties at that house dressed as 2 different.
Yeah, there was definitely a Halloween 2005, because I used to have those picture collage things, and I remember 2004 one, and then 2004 one's the one Decrepit played. That was like our first show ever, or whatever, with me.
That's right. Yeah.
Was that the same time Odious played too?
I think so. Yeah, Odious played that night too. Yeah, and I was dressed up as a priest that night. That's what it was. And then
there was the first party we had, at least while I was living there, that was Medieval Times, Gunter, and Odious Mortem.
That was it. And Decrepit.
And I think Decrepit was the next year.
No, I think it was that year. Yeah, because it was our very first show that I ever played with them, and that was the first. That was like I'd been playing with them for just a few months.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like we were different human beings back. I mean, like, looking back at how long ago that was, like
that was the Gunter one.
A picture of the Odious show there, and
you're just like dancing.
Fucking 12 years old. It's so weird. And you're like,
fucking Casey probably has it somewhere.
20?
Oh, I have them, dude. I'll find them. I'll find them. But the best was if people don't know who Gunther is, the Swedish sensation. Basically, to check him out, he's great. But the Ding Dong song and all that shit. But like, did you were him for Halloween that year, and it was just the fucking greatest thing ever.
And I had never heard of him. You're the one that introduced me to him, and I was like,
"What are you
dressed as?" And then it kind of blew up for a little while. Like maybe 3 or 4 years later, everyone was like, "Oh, Gunther's funny," and I'm like, "Yeah, fucking Andrew was on that fucking pulse."
Yeah, the best was when you greased your chin.
Well, you got to grease the chin if you're going to be Gunter. My friend Ryan, who first turned me on to Gunter, when I told him that I was going to be for Halloween, he's like, or that I was, he's like, "Did you grease your chin?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." That was the first thing I did before I even put the wig on. I had to make sure that I had triple greased it. It was like a greased pig, a hog greasing contest or something. But I remember having Risha had no idea who it was either, and I think it was the first time I met Risha. And he came into my room, and he was just in like this zombie makeup and like all decked out like as brutal as he could be, just sitting on my bed watching the Gunther video.
Oh,
being
that's
like,
right.
this is awesome.
Yeah, Risha. Oh man.
Yeah, Risha's gone through 3 stages now that how long I've known him. So he started off as like the most death metal looking human being I've ever met in my life. To kind of like cut his hair and was like kind of more like stylish, and now he like wears like suits everywhere. He's like,
dude,
he was like all super.
He's GQ as fuck now.
GQ as shit. Yeah,
as a motherfucker right now.
Yeah.
Every time I've seen him, he's been like just dapper as shit, and I'm like, oh, dude, you know what's up. He's definitely. Like, well, I mean, dude, I'm now that I'm older, I'm like, it'd be cool to get into fashion, but I don't have the money for it.
I mean, you got the hat for it.
I got the beanie for it, dude.
My head can't do that with beanies.
You're about 1/5 there.
I do the Rasta style. I just fucking flip it out and then throw it in the back, kind of like a
saggy beanie,
like an old sleeper hat. Do you know the ones that I got a fucking candle and I can flip out the back if I need to take a shit in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah. When you got like a candle on a little candle holder,
the sleeper caps or whatever the fuck.
And then there's like
it literally was to keep heads warm, right?
Yeah, that's. I wonder if people ever actually wore those. I think it just fall off.
Like heating systems, I'm sure they did, dude. I would.
Oh yeah, that's the shit. Look at Gunther on the right there. It's perfect,
dude. Look at him, dude.
Damn, dude.
Dude, Casey's got some really awesome nostalgic pictures in his computer, dude. I remember going to Casey's house in Daly City and him just having it on just random and the screensaver would just like be, memory lane the whole time you're there.
I feel like we know Ethan. He's in the chat. He's saying he treats objects like women, man.
Oh, that's one of my best friends. He's the Remember when he came and visited us for a day and he was wearing an LA hat? And
was it like 20 years ago or 25 years ago? How long was it?
Dude, don't make me even think about it. Yeah, I was 23, so 17 years ago.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah, shit.
It's crazy because we're all that age too, and it's just fucked when you say 23 and it's still 17 years ago, dude.
He was the one who was
like Dusty right there, dude.
Oh, look at there's Risha at the background. What we're talking about, the shot.
There's Anthony behind.
Anthony behind.
Oh, yeah, that's Anthony right there, dude.
Yeah, it is.
That's a great picture right there, dude. That just shows like all the rad dudes they're in.
Dude, Dan with his 40. Dan's got his 40 of Steel Reserve or something behind the fucking.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Dude, we did Steel Reserve 40s for a long time, dude. And Wild Turkey. That was our.
The Wild
buy
Turkey.
A bottle of liquor, it'd be Wild Turkey usually.
Yeah, what was it? Was that David's thing? Because that was like when I got like kind of inducted in that house, and then like it was already there. Like the Wild Turkey phenomenon was there, and they would have parties where they'd be like, if you want to show up, you have to have a bottle of Wild Turkey in your hand. Just go up. And it can't be 80. It has to be 101. You can't do the 80. It has to be the 101 proof.
I didn't even know there was an 80 until you showed up with one. I was like, leave and go get the right one.
It's like non-alcoholic.
The right one.
I was like, what did you do? If I can Photoshop this at Circuit City?
Now we all realize that it's terrible liquor, dude. Wild Turkey sucks. Dude.
I haven't had it in 15 years, probably.
I had a Turk Biddy night, as we call it.
What the fuck is that?
There. So, okay. Remember that episode of South Park where with Bono and Dan's dad makes the
oh my god, there it is, Wild Turkey.
Dude.
Holy
Dan's
shit.
dad, Randy is trying to make the world's biggest crap.
Oh yeah, when he spins up and does the
and then the guy from the Switzerland crap measuring committee or whatever confesses that the world's biggest crap before was actually Bono, who was his own crap, who he then
raised.
He fed his nipple to, and Bono sucked off his nipple, and he's like, first I took the biggest crap, and he was strong, but then I fed him Biddy, and then Bono was sucking out his nipple. He's like, Biddy. Well, I thought that was fucking hilarious, and so when we would go to shows at the Relax Bar in Hollywood back in like 2006. This is once I moved back to LA. This was the place that was doing like hosting like one of the few places that was hosting like underground metal bands and shit. Like I saw Black Cobra there and Lesbian and other bands. I can't remember this one, but we would like bring a little like pint size wild turkey to drink before the show, because I don't even think they served alcohol in there. But so we would drink before, and it just that South Park episode just come out, so I was just like, "Hey, you want some biddy?" And so we started referring to it as the Turk Biddy. So now every night it's become tradition. Every night before Thanksgiving, me and my old school Pasadena buddies get together and we have Turk Biddy night. We fucking drink a lot of wild turkey, and we did it again this year, and it was a great night, and it didn't get nearly as wild as it has in previous years. No one had to fucking feel ashamed of themselves the next day. No one had to apologize for anything. It was very adult at 40 finally.
Yeah.
But like we still like the wild turkey is still a very pleasant.
I was just about to say, now that you tell that story, I would do that. Yeah, for the nostalgic aspect of it, you know, like I bet you if I were to sit down and drink wild turkey with you guys, it would bring back a lot of crazy, you know, feelings.
We never just like
that we had back in the day.
Yeah, it'd always be like that with like that with the David picture. It was like that with a soda.
Oh, dude.
Right? That's
yeah. The college days, it was like everyone has their own fucking pint or liter of wild turkey.
We didn't make cocktails. It was just.
Wasn't there one that was like way stronger than there was like the regular one that was already brutal? Then there was like this other one that was.
That's
like,
what I'm talking about, the 80 versus the 101.
I had
the 80.
No, I think there is a stronger one than the 101. Also, it's like one. I don't
151,
know, 169 probably, where David just really gets wild.
Dude, I like literally gained probably like 80 pounds in like a year there, because like David would be like, dude, no, you fucking you chug the turkey and then you have the soda, and like, dude, okay, we're done drinking, eat a loaf of bread. And like, it soaks it up. And then like I'm like all of a sudden seeing that picture of me that Casey put up, and then like I remember like a year or two later I was like I went from 165 to like 215 in a year or something.
That's because you had a growth spurt, dude. When I met you, you were like 5'5". You look like Lewis. You're like 5'6".
No, I've been 6'1", 6'2" since I met you guys for sure. It was
no.
It was growth in the wrong direction. Kid. I grew horizontally.
The Bowflex was because of your growing pains, dude. You needed the Bowflex to.
Oh, the Bowflex, yeah, I used it like 3 times. It was totally worth it.
Dude, my like biggest memory of wild turkey was like camping one time with David and all Tomas and all the dudes, and we were at some place and like we like drank a bunch of it, and we like I fell on these like rocks, these gnarly rocks that were like all over. We were like fucking partying. It was just camping, and I got like all fucked up on these rocks, and then like woke up in the rain, like in the sleeping bag, all brutal, had to hike out. And then like in the back of my friend's truck bed, like all hungover, like getting beat up, and I was all bruised. And like that's wild turkey. That's like what I think about every time.
That's after a Thunderdome. Remember like the main big window was broken out, and I woke up like the biggest one. Someone just like threw someone through a window. It was, crazy times, crazy house. But like
I thought it was because we put up the mattress to try to keep the window from getting broken, and so people were like, "We should fucking mosh up against the mattress."
And they broke through the mattress. Yeah.
In retrospect,
I
remember that, dude.
Like it was they were a wrestler in the ring bouncing off the fucking.
Which is what I would have done if I was at someone else's house. Like,
I woke up like I woke up on a couch under that window, just like 40 degrees, just like it's like fucking like what the fuck? There's like wind hitting me through the fucking window.
Yeah, there was a couch right below that window, dude.
Oh god,
that was the sleep terror night. I think
the best was people getting super hammered and Bill just hog tying them,
or Bill choking him and trying to like
that was a little wild actually.
there was a guy.
You ever had some wild turkey experiences,
Joseph?
Joseph?
Nah, I mean but not like memorable.
Not that
like
wild.
This. I've been trying to think of a story to tell, and I know I've had it. It's been around, but I don't know.
It's been more mild chicken.
I was like 14 in 2004. I was like a little Santa Cruz Hessian Grom. Like it would have been so fun to like go to these parties as like a young kid and see the music and be like, whoa. But Yeah.
No,
This is great lore though. Keep it up. Like
they're
I'm
definitely
here for
18 and up parties. So
yeah.
Dude, mild
minors.
chicken deserves a little more applause. I'm sorry.
I mean, I hope people don't think at least I'm not bragging. I don't think any of us are really trying to brag. Like, dude, so much wild turkey, so much stupid shit happening. I kind of wish I would have been like, one sip is sufficient.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
But how ridiculous people got though, you had to like. It feels like you had to get on their level a little bit to have like fun. Because when people get like super drunk, you're like, when you're kind of sobery, you're like,
oh yeah,
this is the worst night ever. Like I need to like at least be done with them.
I imagine it was. I remember Anthony and Kenny came over.
Dan Kenny, yeah.
Dan Kenny,
yeah.
And that was one of the funniest things I'll ever remember about that guy. There's a lot to remember, and I say that like just because I haven't seen him in a long time. Was him sticking his head up in the ceiling fan. That must have been a wild turkey night.
That was at the Furniture Dome.
And
when he broke
that was Dusty from Severed, grabbed him and threw him into the fan.
But
and like
Dan asked him to.
Okay.
There's
a bong behind him, like one of Josh's like $400 bongs. And he just
okay. So I was waiting to tell that.
Dan doesn't normally smoke weed too, and he had hit that bong before that and broke it on that situation we were just talking about, where throw me into the fan, dude. Check me out. It's literally jackass, dude. I think at the same time we had gone and seen Steve-O at the Catalyst or something.
Yeah.
So I remember Dusty coming down with us, and I don't know how many of us went to go see that, but
he got kicked in the
balls,
balls,
up on stage. I've told the story before.
Didn't Silly Kid pick him up from the airport? Steve-O?
Picked up Steve-O. He got him his supplies. Yeah. Or helped him find supplies.
Yeah, so it was like still coming off of that situation, and they're like, fucking throw me into the ceiling fan, dude. And
that was over at your friend's house from Pacifica that had moved over there in that area. Mikhail. What's her name? Mikhail. And we went from that house and we ran into you guys, and like Dusty's like, I just was on stage and Steve would just kick me in the balls. Like so excited about it. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, there's
he was heckling. He was heckling. That's why he got pulled up.
Damn. So many fucking stories from that. That's why it's like I go down there now. Like I don't go down there now. I don't like downtown Santa Cruz at all. It's like literally, if people come and visit, I'm like, all right, you're in Santa Cruz. Let's not go to Santa Cruz. Yeah, let's not go to Santa Cruz. Let's go to the not Santa Cruz parts of Santa Cruz. But no,
all the downtowns I've been to suck lately.
Yeah, it's just a little needly. Mm-hmm. But besides that, there's so many fucking stories of. Andrew, I have like 1,000 things I want to talk about with you with that. Should we start?
I guess since we're 22 minutes in, we should do some plugs, right?
Oh yeah, with coffee.
BattleforgeCoffee.com.
Do those plugs.
Is it me doing it?
Oh no, actually, I do want to get serious for a second. BattleforgeCoffee.com. I do want you guys to go there and get your coffee and swag and all that stuff to support the homies. And
he has a green shirt on.
you stood up.
Oh my God,
there you go. Battleforge Coffee. That shirt right there. It's a very comfortable shirt. The one that Casey's wearing. I like to wear it more than most shirts I have. But also want to just add a little thing to this is rest in peace, Eric Lindmark, dude. 5 years since his passing yesterday.
2 days.
Actually, yesterday.
Okay. Yeah.
So shout out to the pioneer Eric, dude, who paved the way for so many of us over here in the Cali death scene and worldwide, if you really think about it. So many people have been influenced by that man and what he's done. And I just want everybody to just acknowledge him. And maybe if it's over a cup of Battleforge coffee, that's a double whammy. Boom. And CaliDeathPodcast.BigCartel.com is where you can buy a shirt from us and walk around your city and push your chest out and be like, what's up, dude? I know about this podcast. If you want to do that, you can buy it at CaliDeathPodcast.BigCartel.com. And GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com. All right.
Shout out. No, shout out the Spotify Wrapped. Everyone who listens to us on Spotify. And Casey did a little screen grab of
I didn't even know
Wrapped.
about that. Do we have that?
Yeah.
I know I did the screen grab. Fuck you guys.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, he didn't see it.
This is going to be news to
Oh,
me.
it was Joel. Sorry.
No, Casey with like more things was talking about like the podcast stuff, and I like posted it, and just like other stuff got not looked at. I'm like, oh, I spent time.
I saw you posted. I just didn't even know. I didn't even look at it, or I didn't click it.
It showed like our like people listening and all across the world what they're listening to, and like
nice. Okay,
because like I spent like 30 minutes trying to figure out how to log back into the Spotify page for Cali Death, and I finally figured out how I linked it, and it was stupid. But anyways, it showed like people from all over the world, like 50 countries. Like, you know, it's been increasing.
Do you have
in the last year?
We're a top podcast for 710 fans. Shout out those 710 listeners.
Yeah, we're number one podcast for like 150, 200 fans or something like that. So,
oh yeah,
yes.
No.
Hopefully, it's not the only podcast I listen to. That's what my brain always goes to the pessimistic side. I'm like, well, it's probably the only one they listen to. It's probably not that big of a deal.
Well,
oh yeah, it is 127. Sorry, shout out the 127.
What was that, Andrew?
I was gonna say all of Packer Nation's watching tonight.
Packer Nation. Hell yeah.
Speaking of which, Joel, you said you were gonna give me my shirt. So there's some guy in San Marino right now walking around super stoked to have a Cali Death podcast shirt. I think.
Did I? Did we send it to the wrong address? I think Joseph. Did we send something?
No, it was my dumbass who put in the wrong address. I never used Apple Pay before, and I was like, "This is sweet." And then I was like, "Wait, that's not my address anymore."
Really?
That's my address from 4 years ago.
Well, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks for your donation.
Charitable.
It's fine. I hope it goes to good use. So
I would love to know who that is. Like, was it somebody who opened it up and was like, "Oh, this is
like,
cool.
fucking, they're a comfortable toilet paper."
It might be a serious church person. It might even be a priest. I'm not sure. Honestly,
that's hilarious. So yeah, you're not currently playing music in any bands, Andrew, correct?
No, I'm not.
Where can we get your merch?
The Andrew Packer merch.
Dude.
You know, just I'll hand out some business cards.
Well, no, so you.
Yeah, we're gonna get your legal services.
Yeah, your legal service. So Andrew's a lawyer now, so we'll talk about this. But yeah, I went from like
he's on the billboard.
Metal blade artist to legal person. So if someone needs legal advice for if they get hurt in an accident, how can they get a hold of you?
A Packer. My last name's Packer.
Boom.
First name's Andrew. A Packer at POC. I got a funny story to tell about that here. It's POC. Packer O'Leary and Corson is the name of the firm. But POC-law.com.
-law hyphen
or dash.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I still call hashtags pound.
Oh yeah.
Calls me a boomer.
That throws me off.
I know.
Yeah.
For all these years.
Shout out typography. The terminology.
For anybody who's wondering, we haven't even mentioned, you know, who Andrew played with. He played with Gypsyhawk, which, by the way, dude, that's a party band like a motherfucker, dude. I've, you know, did my listening in the last week or so because I've known about the band for a long time, but I'm being honest, I didn't listen to it up until a week ago, but I
didn't miss anything.
I was very, very I really did, dude. And I was actually pissed that I hadn't been listening to it before because it is a fucking literally rockin' band. Like, I rock out. The term rock out is what I feel when I'm listening to Gypsyhawk, dude. So, and yeah, this is where it all started too. If you really, there's so many roots in like hard rock and heavy metal that started it all in that band, dude. And I actually enjoyed everything that I listened to in the last week, dude. So
it's awesome. Stoked to hear that. Yeah,
hell yeah, dude.
Andrew, didn't you guys play with Suns Beneath? We'll talk about that too, right? But
sure.
But that was your band before Gypsyhawk, and they were great too. but I'm trying to remember which band was it. Was it Gypsyhawk that played? It was like in Berkeley or Oakland, and it was like that club that was like the Green Day club. That,
the Gilman. Yeah.
the Gilman. I always remember that. I always forget that
Gilman.
name. I can never remember that. The Gilman. And that was a super fun day, and you guys rocked super hard. Was that Gypsyhawk?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
Gypsyhawk.
That was
I think that was while we were recording our first album with Zach.
Oh, it was about 10 years ago.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. With Zach Oren, who I just recorded with. And yeah, he's awesome producer, and
Dude, he's amazing because I knew him because I knew that you guys had worked with him. And at that time we were on Unique Leader Records, which was Ben Murray, who that was his like bedroom label.
I mean,
no. The Creator Destroyer.
What did I say?
Unique Leader.
Unique Leader.
I know. I was like, you guys are on Unique Leader. I was like,
No.
I was like, really? Nobody told me.
All right, that was a faux pas. Yes, of course, Creator Destructor Records.
Yeah.
It's just because someone said Unique Leader earlier, and I was like, that label has a ton of good bands, and I just was thinking about it. I think I saw like a dude from the Patriots wearing a Deeds of Flesh shirt recently. So anyway, so we were on Creator Destructor, who was Ben Murray, who was in Like This City,
right?
Yeah, another band, and and he heard us, and so he wanted to put out our album. He's like, you guys should record with Zach, and I was like, Zach makes awesome death metal. As far as I know, that's more or less what he does, and it's his thing. But I'm down. I'm sure I'm down to hear whatever. I don't have any say in it. Like I'm excited to work with him because like Casey and Joel and everybody and Matt.
Which we were one of his first death metal bands too. He was doing all kinds of other stuff before that. It was like Animosity is the one that pushed us to do that. So like it was for death metal, that was kind of like a new avenue. But anyways,
okay, so I didn't even know that. So I was like, okay, cool. I think we'll see what happens. This might just not be appropriate, but I also trusted Ben.
That's great.
And of course, like as soon as I met Zach and got to know him and heard what he was doing, I was just like, well, this was obviously the right decision. It sounds fucking amazing.
Yeah,
right. I think he, especially by the time he did our second album, because he even told us like, man, I've been thinking about like how I can make you guys sound better and you know what I could do and this and that. But he also just knew how to do it the first time really well. But he perfected it the second time. And I think he would say the same thing. It was like he could make us sound very big and rock and roll and sort of give us that analog sound that so many bands at that same time who were doing the same kind of rock revival thing were trying to do. And we're like, oh, you got to do it on analog. But they weren't paying $180,000 like Deep Purple did to do analog. They were paying like $4,000 in fucking 2010 money. And then like, dude, it still sounded good and everything, but Zach was able to like take the digital world, beef it up with the analog sound for the rock and roll, and it's just like everything like that. And of course, like it all comes down to great drum mixing. And maybe I just don't know enough, or especially at the time, know enough about like production to like not like think to just assume like you got one tool in the box and that's all you got. But he's also like he's obviously a genius.
Totally, dude. And I was just gonna add that Zach was a drummer first, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah, dude,
he is. Yeah.
And you could tell that drums are always important in whatever mix he's involved in, really.
Yeah.
What I did notice about the mix and how both the albums sound, it sounds like an arena act to me, dude. It really does. Like easily opening for like Foo Fighters or Coheed and Cambria or something like that, and rocking as the opening act on one of those types of tours, dude.
Yeah, and we did get further down the line when we had a booking agent, Josh
Simon.
Josh,
the best.
at the agency in New York, the agency company. After he booked us with the Sword, he wanted to be our booking agent, and then he was like, "I just submitted you guys for Alice in Chains," and we were rejected. Instead, they got like the Dixie Chicks or something.
It's between you and the Dixie.
Or someone else. But like, yeah, we were in that. But at least it was cool. Like at least just being in that conversation. Like stepped it up in the next year or so. Who knows?
Is it similar to like? It reminds me of being like, when you buy a lottery ticket, you're like, you hold on to it. You're like, what could I do with this? But like, just having that thrown your way, you get that excitement of like, what will we do if Alice in Chains says yes? And we get it, like, just getting the offer is like tip to the cap of that. You're like very stoked on that.
Yeah, I mean, someone in Alice in Chains management was asked to consider my shitty fucking rock band for a minute, or maybe 2 seconds.
It's not shitty, Jesus. Trying to get me to give you those compliments, Jesus.
Well, that's just him.
No, definitely not.
Self-deprecating as an artist, how we all are.
No, Andrew's one of the funniest people I know. I actually feel like some of my personality derives from living with Andrew.
Oh yeah, dude, totally. Yeah, 100%. All you guys, but yeah.
I have a story I'm gonna note. We'll talk about.
Wait, so I think I met you, Andrew, when you came to record at Casey's studio.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that, in Oceanside at right. Generator. What is now Generator? What was Visions at the time?
Yeah.
Just catch
record for what? For Gypsyhawk?
No, for my band that I still want to get back together, and really got derailed by both COVID, law school, and the fact that no one plays bass that you can rely on. No offense to good friends of mine who play bass.
I know how it is, for sure. I totally get it.
But
COVID and Cambria.
I actually and I was thinking about this, and I wish like I have gone to the trouble of somehow getting really good recordings, because I thought it would have been awesome to show it to you guys here. I only have like iPhone recordings, other than what I did with Casey and then down there at Visions with all you guys, which sounded pretty good. Of course, I like Casey provided the atmosphere, and I sort of had to mix it myself. It sounds pretty good, actually. But the songs we wrote after, regardless of how good those do sound, were just like some next level shit. I was like really surprised, and never got around to doing a good recording of those. And I want to like maybe save up a couple shekels and like just record them just to have them for posterity's sake. But I was really excited about what I was doing with that band, and even after a few years later, like listening to those, I was like, fuck, like some of these are really good, and they're much more. I mean, Casey's at least heard it. Like, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the pictures from the thing, but I can't. They're a little tricky to find.
Actually, that's a good question. That's a good question, actually, because you getting into your profession now, and now the shekels should be more of a plenty that you could use towards something in your time, hobby time. Is that something that you're going to actually do with, the money that you procure from all the work you've done in your new job?
That is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I got this dude, Aaron. Shout out to Aaron. He's a amazing bass player, and he can sing. He can do which I mean to bring up because he can do harmonies really well. He's in a Beatles cover band that played at my dad's birthday, and like they do the 3-part harmonies, just nail them. And my niece is the lead singer, so he would be singing harmony with her. I can't sing. I could just go oi 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 and shit like that. So he said he was down, and so there's a few of those songs that I do want to record and put them on SoundCloud or I don't know, whatever, YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't want to just put them under my bed, but like they're kind of like a mix of things. She's got like a real Amy Winehouse voice, and she also has real powerful pipes at the same time. She can sing really loud, and she doesn't even like have any musical like background at all. In fact, like when we were practicing, she'd be like, okay, this is the next song, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the drummer would be like, whoa, the tempo's 1, 2, 3, but she would just like, I just want to do it right now. It's like, she's like that much of the like, I don't even want to say technical side, but I think part of like making music, it was like so far away from her, but then she just like
she's natural though.
Yeah, she's got just natural, beautiful talent.
Yeah.
Amazing, really cool lyrics, which I really love. and like we sync up our styles really well because I was kind of writing sort of different stuff, but kind of doing the Nirvana thing where like the verses would be like clean guitar and the choruses would be dirty guitar. And then we started writing like a couple like sort of like different stuff. But there's this one song we did called Black Widow that just sounds like a fucking like total arena rock song that I didn't even write. Like just sitting in my room, like I've written every song in my life. The drummer Ian Brown, fucking can definitely go toe to toe, in my opinion, with Casey is the greatest drummer in the world.
Whoa, drum off,
drummer in Gypsyhawk. He was just like, I think we should do a song to this beat that I just came up with, and he was just doing this. I just came up with this riff right there, and it turned into this awesome song. So I want to record some of these songs, and I think like it would be like cool for people who love anal blast mostly, and and stuff, or like or the ghost AD.
Oh yeah. Ghost
or Amy Winehouse. I don't know. It was cool. It's unique, so it should be just out there, just like for the sake of the songs. You know,
yeah.
Be recorded
I'm seeing a lot of bands nowadays. I think I was actually had this thought a couple days ago where I'm seeing these bands that are seamlessly jumping between genres, especially more of the rock and metal stuff. It's happening more smoothly now. It used to be like
here comes the Sleep Token talk.
Yeah.
So Sleep Token is I'm just kidding. But there's just like bands that are like it used to be like like rap metal. Like, yeah, we're gonna rap it sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's just gonna be it. And now it's like
divide it.
But but it's like that it doesn't work, but it's catchy, like back in the day. It's like the idea was there, but they'd be like, and then like the hip hop guy would like not know, like because he wasn't really into metal that much, but he like kind of wanted it in his music or something. He like felt the vibe and was like, hey, I want this in my band, dude. And like it just didn't work till pretty recently. Now it's like bands are finding ways to mix in jazz and all these weird styles of music that are seamless. And that's you brought that up when you said Amy Winehouse and all these other bands to like as like a influence or something that you would want to listen to or something that you're into that would work with the music that you're making. I think nowadays it's becoming more of it's getting more seamless where it's not like forced where it was forced back in the day,
Yeah, and I've sort of been picking up on that too. And even in some of the like more forced ways are still like a little better than maybe they would have been in days previous. Like you hear like really like really poppy pop punk bands like throwing like metal breakdowns into their songs.
Yeah.
Like sounds good if you can tolerate this kind of like whiny pop punk vocals.
Yeah,
like, that it's working, and other stuff like that. Like it makes me wonder like. People would take like, oh, I like the blues and rockabilly
Possession
or something. Yeah. Well, and put it together and do something that's sort of like was like less like something you could like put into boxes of like what were the like influences in a way. And
there bands like growing up in the 90s thing, dude. Growing up in the 90s, we had to pick sides. That's what everybody socially was like.
It had to evolve.
Famous one was, are you a rocker or a rapper?
Are you a rocker?
Are you a rocker? Or are you a rapper, dude?
I'm a producer.
And so what Joel was talking about with like the new metal and mixing rap and metal and all that, there was still these dividing walls between those parts of those songs, because I think that everybody wanted to express themselves on a wider scale, but socially we weren't able to because everybody was making you pick a side, dude. And we were the guys that were kind of like, well, I like both. I not only like both, but I also like this. I like that. I like,
Well, I think it was that, but it had that like kind of like that standoff elitist thing that you had to encounter if you wanted to be a metal band. It was like, we're a metal band, but we're going to put this new thing that's not metal in it. And then people are going to be like, oh, Like like, and that was like the standard was like metal or go fuck your mother. Like, it wasn't like,
I think it's combining elements that are so hard to like. It's like mustard and ice cream. Like,
yeah.
It's like,
I mean, it was. I think bands are getting better at making a really good mustard ice cream. Well,
totally. Well, it's avocado milkilkshake. It's like,
that garlic ice cream is actually pretty good, dude.
Garlic ice cream?
No. I know. I'm just saying that like it's harder when you have elements that are different, obviously, to blend and make it seem like, oh, this is.
But there's more kids that were born, after us that are like, they started off with like all these influences to start, and they're like, I feel like they're kind of taking all of it and kind of running, like doing things that are kind of make it work smoothly now. What was before, I mean, I was way more judgmental on when clean singing, I'd be like, oh, clean sing. I would like immediately judge it and be like out. I'd be like, I'm out. Like, you're done.
It sounded like because I remember us thinking like, oh, that band is just selling out.
Yeah, sell out. They're selling out.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, exactly.
But then you listen to Opeth.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
That was later in life.
All the clean singing, dude.
Oh, dude. I mean, Opeth, I loved. I'm turning in as I get older into like songs that are like a journey. It's like there's 3 moods in it. There's not just like or like it's like it's like balls dipped in ice and fire, ice, fire. It's like,
well, right, but at the same time, also it's like you're not just closed-minded because you don't like a death metal band that goes into a techno break. Like, it might actually sound like shit.
Yeah.
It has to be finally
totally
massaged together and come up with something that you might be like something you could call like a new genre, because it's like it makes sense. It's not just this slapped together like, I don't know, happy shot at like trying to be innovative.
Yeah,
but also like I think you need to go through those sorts of phases and there's probably like the shit has to pave the way for the betters to get the bad ideas out of the way.
Because Black Sabbath was paid, like they were like, "Whoa, dude!" Like that. Everyone's like, "This is fucking weird." Dude.
I had this, when I had my studio visions. There was this like kind of like a handyman dude who like would come and like he like redid our bathroom and shit and this and that and oh wait, no, I'm sorry, it's the painter. Never mind, the painter guy. He's this old guy, and he was just like, he's like, man, I saw Black Sabbath and fucking, like at a college party or something, back in the 70s. I fucking saw them at this place, and he's all, it fucking sucked. I was just like, what? It's like my favorite band. Like, if I had to pick one band, I'd be like, I don't know, Black Sabbath, I don't know, or Iron Maiden or something, probably Black Sabbath. But I was just like, what? Come on, man. Like, it was just so weird. It was just like,
I know it's hard, that one band conversation really? When people talk about that, it's like, you have to think, do you think about the things that the band that started it all? Or do you think about something you can sit on an island with until you die? Like, with one CD,
but I think the thing though that's like important is like to think about is like, it's not really about like growling, clean singing, or rough middles or growls or whatever, Opeth or Gojira or like all these different ranges of different vocals. Like, that's not even what it's about. Like, I think like back in the day, like you're talking about the 90s stuff, things were more polarized to where it was like metalcore and there was like emo and shit, and so we were like fighting against like Hawthorne Heights, like we're watching that on TV. That's what was popular at the time, and we're like listening to Deeds of Flesh, going like
people like punching each other in the mosh pits and stuff. And we're like,
it was just so different. We're like Blink-182 and then Cannibal Corpse, it's just like it's like crazy like polar like thing. And so like it's not even about singing or not, like it really isn't. It's about like how you do it. And like, if you look at Nirvana, like he's kind of like an anti-singer. Like Kurt Cobain was just like this, like he wasn't. I mean, it was melodic, but it was like, you know what I mean. It was like kind of like, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like that scratchy voice thing, like transcends into metal totally fine and great, So like, I don't know. I don't think it's just like when things have this like super like, okay, here's the metalcore part, and then here's the emo vocal part, and then back to the brutal part and all this, and that's what we hated like back in those times, because it was so,
but it was forced too. It was just like, it seemed like, oh, you're just forcing it. Or but yeah, that's definitely I definitely agree with you on that. 100%.
Speaking of singing and Black Sabbath, dude, the clickbait on Ozzy lately has been fucking with my emotions hard.
Oh
dude.
yeah, well,
Because last week it's like a quote of him saying, I just need one big show where I can thank everybody for my life, and then if I die at the end, I'll be good. And then this week it's I got 10 more years in me. It's like, what the
what's
fuck?
funny?
Dude, you're playing with me, Ozzy.
That you're even
I
bringing
want you
that
to
up.
have fucking 100 years more, but
dude. So there's this. If you guys go on YouTube, I just got through it last night. It was 11 episodes. It was it's called Battle for Ozfest. It's like in the 2003-4 era Ozfest, where the like hit Ozzy and Sharon decided to. It's on YouTube. It just ran.
the System
Fucking
of a Down one.
Dan Kenny posted a link about something, and I clicked it. Then like the thing on the side was like Battle for Ozfest, and I clicked it, and it's like tribal artwork. Like, you guys gonna want to get on Ozfest? Well, and it's like, and it's just like it's like a reality show with Ozzy and Sharon picking these like from these unsigned bands to bring them on Ozfest to open up for a year or for one of the years on Ozfest.
Any bands we know, the unsigned.
You know who was on there that didn't make the even get on the show was Tesseract. It was it's all Tesseract. I was like, I know that out of all the bands, it's the only band name I recognize.
Crazy.
But
That's
like
cool,
but it's like, and then they put them all on a bus, and there's a guy that's like one of Black Label Society's like roadie guys.
Yeah.
And like he's still like fucking yelling, making them like shave their heads and be all silly. And one guy there's like one dude's like pretends to be, because Slipknot was headlining the second stage at this point. So he like went up to some girls after him. They set traps for them. So they set traps of like girls that would walk up to him, and they were like, the rules are you can't talk to any bands, you can't do like there are things like that. Really? And like these girls like walked up and they're like, hey, what's up? And the guy's like, oh, I'm the clown from Slipknot. Can I sign your tits and ass? And like the girls like took out and they're like, and then they were just all like, oh, they were underage girls.
Oh,
like,
no.
you're fucking. They put them, and then they put them all in like interrogation shit with like cops, and they were just all like, fuck, what the fuck, like anyone that had anything to do with it. And they're like, and Ozzy's just all, dude, you got to fucking prepare for the road. You got to prepare. It's like Ozzy being like a fucking a host, dude.
Damn.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing, and
it's like spam email. He's like, they tricked you, idiot.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I'm like,
for death metal.
Oh man,
metal festivals.
It was fucking. It's actually at first I'm like, oh my god, that's what metal was like back then. That was like, that whole popular metal scene.
Can I weigh in just real fast?
No,
you guys know the band.
Talking enough, dude.
Yeah, I know. Do you know the band Moria from?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I saw them live like 3 weeks ago.
Really?
And they're still doing like MySpace era metalcore down in Monterey.
Yeah, they do like random like comeback shows, right? They'll do like one show. I never.
Well, it was opening for Peeling Flesh and Bludgeon. Moria was like the local headliner.
Joel Haston was the reason why that happened, because Joel Haston's his best friend is the singer of Moria. So and
they were good.
Cupcake.
They were good.
It was impressive. Like I heard them while I was hanging out with the Bludgeon guys. And they were like straight edge, and everyone in the crowd was like straight edge. And then later, like the Peeling Flesh guys, like, who else is high as fuck right now? Like didn't get the memo. Like wrong crowd. It was awesome. But
that would be cool one day, that like those two genres, since they were so divided back in the day, that they're just like, oh, it's a sick band, I don't care, like that's kind of how I am. If it's a band of a genre or scene I'm not a fan of, if I like the band, I'll just go and wear a blank sweatshirt. I'll just wear.
Well, that's why I want to ask about like with the Gypsyhawk thing. Like, was there like a technical death metal and hard rock crossover through like the connections there, or was it kind of more coincidental? Like, was there no overlap, or I don't know. What did you think? Like on Metal Blade, especially, like what was the roster like?
That's a good question.
Great question.
It is a good question, and it is something that I don't know if it certainly like helped us. Like once we got signed to Metal Blade, like people started really paying attention finally. So as it should, like a new band to Metal Blade or whatever. Although we did get, where should I start this? So like okay, so we started So okay, so back in college where I met Casey and Joel, um, I've been playing guitar since I was like 11, and at some point during college, I sort of stopped playing guitar and wasn't playing that much, and I guess I was just focused on school, and then also everyone that I was hanging out with was just like, Dan, and just like could just shred, and Matt, and I was just kind of like, I like this music a lot, and I'm not gonna take the time to be that good, so it wasn't like conscious decision like that. I just wasn't playing guitar that much. It's kind of, one of those things that happens when you sort of atrophy or whatever. And then when someone finally showed me the song Empty Words by Death,
oh yeah,
I was just like, I bet I can play that. And so I got the tab and learned it and learned the whole thing. I was just like, I love guitar again, and just started playing all the time. And then when I moved back to LA, started a new band that was more heavy, but it was like I wanted to do a band that was like a mix of like death and like Bongzilla. We talked blending these genres. That's what I wanted to do.
Nice.
I wanted those like cool, like stoner, like chuggy riffs, and then like cool, like technical parts with awesome solos. And when I met Eric Harris, he was in Skeleton Witch, and he got kicked out of the band in LA, and all of a sudden he was stuck in LA, and he didn't know what to do because he didn't know anyone there because he was living in Ohio for the last few years. So the only people he knew in LA were the people at Prosthetic Records. I got that record label right. And he called them up and was like, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck here in LA. I got kicked out of the band. And they said, like, well, there's this new band starting up. They're doing kind of a power metal thing. They're looking for a bass player. You should hit them up and join their band. And at the time, that was ex-members of White Wizard who went on to become Holy Grail. And when they got the word that the bass player from Skeleton Witch wanted to was looking for a band, they were like, fuck yeah, you're in the band. We're starting a new band. And at the time, they only had one guitar player, which is this dude, James LaRue, who is also one of the best guitar players I've ever been around. I mean, that guy
is that the Limp Bizkit looking guy?
No.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, James LaRue looks more like he looks more like early
like a later White Wizard.
No, he actually kind of looks like what's his name that plays Derek, your buddy
Boyer?
Derek. Yeah, he kind of looks like him.
Okay. Oh yeah, white hair. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
A really, really great guitar player, really awesome dude. And he was a guitar player, and those guys in Holy Grail, at least a couple of them went to my high school, and so they had seen Sons Beneath, my band before Gypsyhawk, and so they asked me to come audition, and that's when I met Eric. And they were just like Dragon Force type shredding, and I was like, Jimi Hendrix and Death. This is what I got. And but they had heard me, so they wanted me to audition, but then they were like, I don't think you're a right fit. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't think I was a right fit either. And but then Eric left that band and decided he was going to start his own band. And I think it was because he wanted to do a rock and roll band, which I also had wanted to too, because all the metal type shows I've been playing, you're up there like trying to have fun playing in these small bars and clubs or whatever, and everyone who's not like your girlfriend or your mom that's there to see you is some dude like a sleeveless shirt, like looking at everything you're doing, like staring at all your stuff. And I was like, man, this is kind of like not fun. Like I want to have like a side project of having like what I would call a basement band, like a Comets on Fire type like rock and roll band or something like that. That's just about like people smoking cigarettes, pouring beer on each other, like having fun. And rocking out and not being like, I could play that better than he can, like type of thing. And he sort of had the same feeling. And since I was the only guitar player in LA that he knew at that point, other than the guys in what would be Holy Grail, I think they were called Sorcerer at that moment. He called me up and he's like, "What's up? It's Eric." And I was like, the dude I went to college with, who I haven't talked to in 6 years. He's like, no, the dude you fucking played with James Luna and stuff in the band that's going to be Holy Grail. Like, oh, why are you calling me? It was like the last person in the world. He was like, as soon as he was dropped in LA, he was just like a rock star.
No, I know. Yeah, he
every
had that
chick,
vibe.
yeah, and like deserved in a lot of ways. So I was like, why are you calling me? And he was like, hey, so I think you're a good guitar player. Do you want to start like a rock and roll band? And at that point, with Sons Beneath, I wanted to do a touring thing because like dudes like, you know, Odious and Decrepit and like my friends in like Residual Echoes, like Adam Payne, like everyone I knew who was in bands in Santa Cruz were like going on tour and putting out records on labels, and that's what I wanted to do. And the guys in Sons Beneath, who I love very much, good friends of mine, but they were just like, I gotta go to work tomorrow and stuff like that, which is totally fine. I definitely get it now, but I didn't get it when I was 24. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I know you want to go on tour. When Eric called me, and so we started a rock and roll band. And then I was talking about earlier, Ben Murray from Creator Destructor. He had that little bit of clout, and so right away we started getting metal attention, which was because Skeleton Witch and Creator Destructor Records. And fucking, I remember we first got our first fucking post on Lamb Goat. The very first comment on it was just Andrew Fudge Packer. I'm in it for a fucking good time here, but I'm down. Whatever. And yada yada. And then our first tour that we booked for ourselves, I can't remember. We played like different random shows in LA. The first tour we booked for ourselves, we went and someone booked us a show in Reno with local bands there, and the first band was like a power violence band, and the next one was like a black metal fantasy band, and we were going to be in the middle, and then after that was like a death metal band, and then a hardcore band. And everyone there, like, who came to see those bands, like, it looked like they were there to see those bands. Like, man, this is going to be a long night. But everyone loved it. Like, we had such a great time. Everyone was so enthusiastic. They bought our shirts, our CDs and stuff. And like, we made so many friends that night with everyone there. And so we were like, okay, we have a place in the metal community. You know, we're like, maybe it's because we're a little heavy. Maybe it's just because there's the Skeleton Witch thing. And, you know, Scotty can like play as well as like any other shreddy metal guitar player, even if it's in a rock and roll context. So we had some like metal-ish parts, you know, at points. So we saw that we could like fit into a bit of a metal crowd. And then as the media went on a little bit, we just sort of like Lamb Goat and Metal Sucks were talking about us and other metal sites, but I don't think we were ever talked about on like Brooklyn Vegan or Pitchfork or I don't even know, whatever, whoever talks about rock and roll. Is there even a rock and roll site? Like, I don't even know. So yeah, as we were like touring a bit, like word got around, we booked all our first 4 tours. And I remember on the 4th one, we heard like from 2 different people, like, dude, I know somebody at Metal Blade and they're talking about you guys. And they wanted to sign us, and they worked like that. And then we did like the metal showcase with 6 Feet Under and Cattle Decapitation. And I think Battlecross were playing, and Pilgrim, also very heavy bands. And we definitely were playing shows where we didn't fit in. And I kind of wonder if maybe like in hindsight, like maybe like instead of like putting us in that like super heavy metal type, trying to lump us in with that crowd, maybe we could have like been lumped in better with a Warped Tour type crowd or something like that. But then, you know, so anyway, hopefully that answers your question without me fucking pontificating any longer.
No, dude,
that was awesome.
That was all great stuff, dude. I loved all that. And then we've been doing it kind of backwards with you because we just started with the homie talk right away, but we usually start in the beginning of your timeline. But since you mentioned 6 Feet Under, I wanted to just bring up real quick, this isn't the most recent collaboration you've had with 6 Feet Under that you're talking about right now.
Right. So we should talk about how I finally got to get on this podcast.
the things you had to do to
I can't believe, really, that I had to like beg you guys, but especially Joel.
Well, I mean, I couldn't tell. I honestly like Andrew has a part about his voice that's like I can't tell if he's like trolling me or if he like actually wants to really honestly be on, or like, and I'll just be like, whatever, dude, fucking blah. And then he'd post like a boomer thing on the chat, and I'd be like, I think he's fucking with me. I think he's completely fucking with me. And then you started getting like through that week or two before, you were kind of like, the podcast, what's up, the podcast? You wouldn't even let me on the podcast. So I was like, dude, you can come on. I don't fucking care. What are you talking about? Like, and then and then
you're like, you're not coming on, dude. You're not middle enough.
I did not say that ever. Never said that ever. I never said that ever. But I wish I did, because
so then what came later?
Let's see.
Something
I closed the window, dude.
Well, should I give a little background to? Actually, I'll do it after.
So there's a member of 6 Feet Under. Which one is it? What did he do? Is he the guitar bass? Or, I just closed the window, so I gotta
on that microphone.
I gotta buy time.
Man's name's Chris Barnes. Dude, this was some of the greatest content I've seen to come out of the Cali Death chat.
And just to preface it a little bit too, I was at Aftershock Festival with Osa, my fiance. We were like, we had a pretty rough night before. I mean, like, as far as like a lot of beverages, and we were just kind of waking up like one-eyed pirating. And I just decided to check out the chat that me and Andrew are in. And Andrew, just the way he prefaced it, and I mentioned this before the podcast, but he mentioned it just kind of like, hey dude, I got something for you. And that was like, it was like the most like, I could have just missed it. I could have like not even seen it, and just like, and I was like, oh, I'll click it. And I clicked it. And I watched it probably 13 times, 14 times, like the first time. First time I got it, I was like, what the fuck? I wanted to show it. I was like posting it in the Cali Death chat, just like, I was like, god damn, this motherfucker.
So this has got to be some of the greatest shit, dude. We gotta all be quiet. We're gonna listen to.
We can laugh.
If you're watching this video, you probably already know who this is, but let's hear from
let's see why Andrew's on the podcast.
The man, the myth, the legend, Chris Barnes, dude.
Shit.
Joel. Hey Joel, it's me, Chris Barnes from 6 Feet Under. Joel, I'm here on this cameo. I've been booked for the cameo by someone. I have no idea. It's someone booked me for the cameo. Packer, I guess. I don't know what this guy's name is, but they tell me that you, Joel, were in the band Decrepit Birth. I did a tour with Decrepit Birth on our last U.S. tour way back in 2013. I guess you were already out of the band. I don't know, for not being good enough or just being a crappy bass player altogether, or maybe both. Just a horrible person. I don't know what the reason is why you weren't in the band when we toured with them, but I just can only guess that they didn't like you, and doesn't seem like most people do, because whoever booked me for this cameo wanted me to let you know that. So anyhow, Joel, the dreg of society that you are, I'm told that you have a death metal podcast. Wow, that's real original. How many failed musicians have podcasts now, especially death metal ex-bass players? It's got to be in the thousands, at least the hundreds at this point in time. Just such an original career path. I'm sure you're a real popular YouTuber. So kudos to you for a career of mediocrity in the dregs and bowels of YouTube. Sounds like you really made the right decision to put down the bass and monetize, your stupidity that way. So I hope it's been really successful for you. And anyways, from what these people or this person tells me, like I said, you have a really successful career on YouTube, I guess, or some other silly platform to that wants your podcasts. I don't know why. So it says that you won't even have this dude on your podcast, even though his old band Gypsyhawk was on Metal Blade and played a showcase with 6 Feet Under. That's important. That's an important thing in life. I mean, at least he was in a band on Metal Blade and played a showcase with a great band like 6 Feet Under. So there's that, that's something you should aspire to look up to this guy. I mean, he's even wanted to be on your podcast. I'm sure he's only maybe one of 3 people entirely that requested to even do your podcast. I mean, from what I hear, you have to chase people down in Kmart's and Walmart's across. Kmart's aren't even open. Nobody told you, but you're still going to abandoned buildings to round up anyone you can. It's just really beyond me why you wouldn't want this dude who's actually asking to be on your podcast. I mean, I don't even think anybody knows who you are. I mean, the first lesson in publicity is, never say no, just kind of do everything that comes your way to get popular. So it doesn't make sense why you wouldn't want to have someone that actually wants to do your lowly YouTube podcast or whatever platform, like I said, will have you. I mean, look at this guy's even booked me for this cameo, and that's pretty desperate. I'm even saying yes to whatever $41 that I'm going to make on this thing, which is really almost not worth staying up this late to do. And anyway, so try to at least think about your career and doing the right thing here, man. I mean, Joel, what other options do you have in life at this point? Have some guy that was on Metal Blade, on your podcast, and at least talk to the guy. He's got to at least have something interesting to say. You sure as hell don't. So, anyways, Joel, I just don't know what else to say. Other than that this dude's a much better is much better at guitar than you were at bass or whatever fucking instrument you played. I don't even know if you're even considered a musician at this point. And I'm told you're a pussy as well. So wipe off your pussy, go out and get a real job, put down the microphone and the camera on YouTube, and have some real. Try to go out and just find people that are interesting. If you're going to keep doing a podcast, I mean, make it interesting. I mean, there's only, like I said, it's got to be at least 980 people that are doing podcasts now that are musicians or ex-musicians. I mean, who really cares at this point? But I've been booked for this large sum of money, like I said, $41.35 to roast you, Joel. I am roasting you. So you have been roasted, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Damn, that's
Dude,
such
I
a good
enjoyed the
roast.
fuck out of it, dude.
It's such a good roast. Like the way the pussy part, I rewound that part like 300 times. Just like,
I literally have tears, dude.
I'm told that you're a pussy too.
All the times I've seen it, dude, I still cried laughing. There's so many good fucking parts in there, dude, that just make me fucking hold my stomach, dude.
Oh god.
That came out so well. I was so stoked. I thought he was only gonna give me like a minute and a half tops. And like it was just like, okay, you can only write like 500 words what you want Chris Barnes to say, and you can record a little video.
Did you screenshot or do you have like a record of what you told him to say? I would love to see that.
It might be on there.
Yeah.
I'll check.
He's like, it's like a checkbox. He's like, oh, I'm also told that you're a pussy.
Yeah,
Andrew for 100%.
At the end, dude, that's so great, dude. Save that for the end, just real quick, dude.
Yeah, I was like, oh, and don't forget to tell him that he's a pussy and that I'm better at guitar than him. And I almost, when I got it, I woke up kind of like jolted. With the surprise thing. It was like, oh, you got a response on Cameo, and I saw it was him. I was like, oh man, I bet he's just gonna tell me how lame I am for like shitting on the death metal community or something. I don't know. I just figured he'd think it was lame because whatever. And boy, clearly he thought it was cool because I bet, I don't know if he always did 6.5 minute videos. I think I inspired him.
Dude,
I just pressed hard views for that one.
That was literally
that was a good roast. That was like
really good.
I love comedy and shit, and I love like good roasts, and that like the way he like his mannerisms with it and his delivery was fucking. I was like crying like as hard as I could, laughing. The first time I saw it, and the second time I saw it, just he's reading. He still is like reading and doing it, but he's just all his delivery and how he like roasts you is so comedic. You know, I'm like,
you can tell he's having fun doing it, dude.
Yeah, and he has a little smile every now and
then. Yeah. There's a lot of times where I'm like, he's actually having fun doing what he's doing. That, and that's probably the closest we'll ever get to having Chris Barnes on this show.
I know, right?
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Nah, dude, that was a great gift, dude. Even for somebody who isn't Joel, I'm glad I got to see that, and now we get to show it to the Cali Death podcast.
I've been excited to show it on the show ever since you sent that to me, whatever it was, a couple months ago, whatever. And dude, it was funny. I was in Walmart just randomly like shopping or something, and Joel like sent it, and I was just like, what is this? And I just put it on like on speakerphone, and I was like walking around looking at like stationary items. And it was just like all of it, and I was just like, "What? Oh shit!" And I just like started fucking cracking up, dude. Like, just got better as it went on. So
it was both presentations. I think Andrew's presentation to me of just like, whatever, Joel, you don't want me to podcast? Check this out. And I'm just like, I just clicked it, and it's just my phone. Joel, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Such a baller move, dude.
Yeah, it worked perfectly.
Well, I got the idea kind of on accident because in my fantasy football league, our commissioner likes to send videos from like undrafted free agent type guys from the Lions, and it costs like him like $10 to do it, and they're funny. And he tells them what to say. And he's just like, I just wanted to tell you that Jason Bubalo is the greatest fantasy football player, and you guys all suck, and like funny stuff like that. So I was like, I'm gonna double up. Like I'm gonna get Rose McGowan, a true celebrity, to roast on all you guys in my fantasy football league how I'm actually the best. And
it just progresses.
So I told her what to say, and it cost like $150 or something. But I was like, I don't care. I'm taking this to the next level. But she was in Mexico or something, or like she was like, is this supposed to be a joke? Is this like misogynistic? Like, she'd actually say wrong person. Like that, but she was just like, I need an explanation of what this is about. And so I told her, I didn't hear from backer, and it said like, your Cameo purchase has been denied. We're not going to refund you. You just have a credit. And I was like, fuck, what do I do? And I was talking to Silly Kid, and I was like, what do I do with this credit now? And I was like, well, why don't we make fun of Josh? And I was going through,
Joel,
like, we used to make fun of, no, I didn't meant Josh.
Okay, you meant Josh.
And I was going to be like, oh, they have fucking Chris Barnes from 6 Feet Under on here. I was like, that'd be funny to make fun of Josh for this. Like, wait a minute. I'm gonna tell him to tell Joel to put me on the goddamn fucking podcast finally. And so it's like, dude, that's brilliant, man.
Dude, it really is brilliant. And obviously we're sitting here today and we're talking on the podcast. That's the most creative way to put it in our ear, to be like, hey dude, I want to be on. Look.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got fucking the guy
he's got a talent for roasting
during fucking Ace Ventura, dude.
I mean, anyone who wants to come on the podcast, just get a cameo, Chris Barnes.
We were talking, Andrew, you messaged me a while ago. We were gonna like try to get him on the podcast and just show him on afterward. I was thinking about getting doing a response video to it, and I fucking pussied out and forgot. Like I was like, that'd be a great idea to pay to get him back. And then I was like, what do I say? I remember
get Corpse Grinder to do one.
Get Corpse Grinder to do one to you. Get the new Cannibal Singer to do one to you. Oh my god, that'd be so fun. I know there's so many ideas.
The only way you one up it. That's the only way you one up it, dude.
And now I'm ready.
I didn't know. Like, I actually didn't know that this. Like, Andrew, you were coming on this soon. Because I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, oh shit, this week is Andrew, like on Tuesday or something, or Monday, and I was like, fuck, I don't have a chance to do any cameos to get you back, or like, I was like, if I pay and they send it on fucking Friday, like I'll be like, fucking sick, dude, I'll put it in the chat again. But
if you were to come back right after what we just watched, that would have been the
I know
the deal.
Yeah, that would have been.
You blew it, kid.
That would have been some pizzazz there, Joel, and you blew it. But if you do,
but I had the idea.
I'll come on for a quick cameo.
That's my William Montgomery. I had the idea for your birthday, but I didn't pull the trigger, dude.
No, William Montgomery is what? What? This is the what, dude? Kill Tony. Anyways, so they're not gonna know that. You guys watch Kill Tony at all?
It's one of the greatest podcasts of all time.
Yeah, they don't. But
Andrew just bounced.
I was gonna pull up a cute, adorable picture of Andrew with Gypsyhawk right here. Damn, you still are a handsome man. You weren't. I was about to say you were a handsome man. You still handsome.
He's always been a handsome man.
But look how, dude, Andrew, you're like adorable right here, dude. It's like,
let's see it, dude.
Doesn't the window? Here we go. Sorry. Look at this boy.
Dude, he was slinging some gypsy cock, dude.
Oh, Andrew, dude, Andrew. He says this guy is like the other guy came to fucking LA and was women wanted him. This guy, look at this guy. Better looking. This guy is probably better looking than all you guys. But
maybe if they went to the same hairdresser, they would have been.
Hey, are you snagging it, Joel, right now?
I'm snagging right now. I know that's why it's all looking all shitty right now.
Snagging.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, dude.
All the bastards? Damn, that's a gangster shirt to have on too. Andrew?
I don't know.
Andrew's frozen, I think, because he'd be responding right now.
No, he is on a break. He'll be back, he said.
Oh, dude.
Oh, he just
is on a break.
Private chat.
I'm on a break.
Bathroom break.
Yeah,
BRB bathroom break.
I'm gonna go take a break too.
I gotta go take one of those.
Yeah.
It's
I'll just leave the pod at the same time.
I mean, legally you get a 15-minute break, right?
Yeah.
Look at his face. Does it not let me zoom in on it? Do you see that?
There he is.
Damn. I just showed your cute Gypsyhawk picture, dude, and I was saying that you're still just as handsome.
No. Well, yeah, I'm twice as handsome, at least.
Yeah, we age like a fine wine, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony, I always thought was one of the most handsome guys that ever went to the Thunderdome, but I know he was definitely the most handsome dude to have ever been at the Thunderdome.
Fuck yeah, I'll take that trophy.
Yeah, I think he's like top 16. Right? I'm like 17. That's why I did 16.
Right behind me, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I was saying to you in that Gypsyhawk picture, you missed the whole Gypsyhawk presentation I just did.
He did.
I told you I had to run to the.
Yeah, but you're frozen in the corner, and I'm deaf. So
no, we were just admiring how handsome you were in this band photo right here, dude.
Hey, it's a nice photo.
You missed my joke. I said you were slinging some Gypsyhawk, dude.
I also was like mentioning your shirt too, Follow the Bastards. That's a gangster shirt. I would love a shirt like that shirt.
Man, I love that shirt.
A good band. Such a good band.
I really love that band. That was another big influence on what I wanted to do. I knew because I was saying, like, I loved death metal and everyone, but like, dude, I was hanging out with Decrepit Birth and Odious Mortem. Like, the best death metal is being played. Like, I had to do something else.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, we would jam and stuff, and I remember like you had this Ibanez guitar. I remember you'd be more bluesy and doing like more bluesy stuff. And you said something earlier that actually has resonated pretty huge with me is when you see people doing something that is like bananas, you're like, well, that avenue's gone. I'm gonna go ahead and do like try to make, but there is so many different ways to make your imprint on like styles and stuff like that. There's so many things you can do to like do a different whatever you feel more comfortable doing. It's like playing technical death metal like at that fucking level wasn't like necessarily like the most fun thing I've ever done. It was more like stress, because they had all, like you said, the guys with their arms crossed that were guitar players in other bands just going like, can they do it? Can they do it though? Is that like and it's like they had that stress. And then after a while I just started just getting drunk and be like, I'm gonna do it. Fuck you, dude. And then it was just kind of this, but my arms were all just like swollen and like I'd have all these wrist issues and like all these things happening and stuff. And I was like, I would rather just kind of play like, like notes would be like sick, like, or like chords that just ring out for like a bar one time. That'd be
Yeah. I mean, I've always like sort of wondered about that because I've never played that kind of tech stuff live. And like, it seems like it would be really stressful. It's clearly not for everyone.
Yeah.
It probably must be for some people who are like really good at it, and are doing it. It's I think, I don't know, maybe it's something you're born with.
Well, it's like more. I think it's Maybelline, but I think also it was like kind of a competition. It was kind of a competition back then, like it was who's gonna. And we brought this up a million times in the podcast, but like back in the day, it was like, oh, who's the crazier thing? You know what I mean? It was kind of like it had that vibe to it a little bit. With all respect to every band, we were like, fuck yeah, we love you too. But it was kind of like, oh shit, they're playing, we gotta play sicker. Like it like turned like it was like a natural. It's like a football game. We're both into football. Like it's like, oh shit, that guy's a really good quarterback. We gotta play a better quarterback than he plays quarterback. Like.
Well, I think that's my explanation of why I finally started getting into football at age 27 or something.
Yeah,
because I never really had felt like competitive perhaps before. And like once I started like wanting to like have a serious band, and I was like seeing what everyone else was doing, and like and not so much in terms of like being better, but that's certainly a part of it, but also like,
I mean, would you rather be worse?
I don't know.
Would you rather be worse?
Right. It's like, no, you want to know like you're just looking at what's going out there and what people are into, and what's getting attention, and you're just sort of thinking like, man, I'm better than that. Why does no one like my band?
It's like, why doesn't Chris
what am I doing
Barnes
wrong?
send me
You
a
start thinking
video?
about it, and you just sort of like, there's something about the music. I think it's healthy. I mean, like that's probably why we've got some of our best music. Like the Beatles and the Stones were out trying to do each other with like writing a better song, and like writing some of their best songs later down the road. I don't think that's an accident.
If it was all just W's, like you're just winning everywhere you go and there's no competition, like it would probably be just end up being so garbage at the end.
Or even within the Beatles, they were all trying to outdo each other. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that was
I think
perfect.
But having like so one thing, and I want to get into your childhood and shit, Andrew, but I also wanted to bring up this point before I forget, and this kind of is a good place. Because we're talking about competition, but when there's like a collective of humans, there's like a healthy competition that happens during this.
With respect, competition with respect for everyone else.
Exactly, dude. And I think and we've mentioned it multiple times, but I mean, you are a person who, you know, caught the energy of the Thunderdome, and I just wanted to like ask you how much of just seeing the creative energy that was happening in those years while, you know, being in that house, how much of that influenced your, you know, movement forward in music, you
massive.
know?
For amusement.
I know it was seriously massive. I mean, I remember, you know, like, I forget, Joel, were you weren't in the band yet, I don't think, when Odious got signed to Unique Leader.
No, it was about a year after.
Yeah, but I remember like neither Casey or David or Dan like had told me. I was just at work. It was during the summer, and I was back in LA that summer, where I'm from, and I was at work, so I was fucking off obviously on the internet, and I was I think I would look at Unique Leader's page often, and it was like, you know, new signing, Odious Mortem, and I was just like, what? Like, no fucking way, that's so cool. Hell yeah. And I was like really proud of them and everything, and then like Casey got in Decrepit like a week later, and Decrepit was awesome. And then like I was talking about earlier, like I knew like the guys in like Residual Echoes and the new Thrill Parade, and it seemed like everyone that I was like friends with was just like getting signed, like and Mammotus, like Residual Echoes was on Holy Mountain Records with Mammotus, and they were going on tour, and I was just like, man, I just gotta like at least go on tour and put out a record and have a MySpace page before I die. Like, that's all I wanted.
It's the bucket list, man. Yeah.
It kind of was like, that's just, I just wanted to like go on tour, and I was like, I don't want to fucking die like thinking like, man, what if I like had like tried at least like could have gone on tour once.
Oh, dude. I mean, for me, like one of my big bucket list tours was touring with Black Dahlia Murder. Like, in that whole thing was like so crazy fun and like crazy, probably the coolest tour I ever did. One of them, also the, you know, Summer Slaughter with Necrophagus. But I just remember that Black Dahlia tour was just like,
oh, that picture, dude. I took that picture. I was like, Brian and Andrew look like identical backstage. And I was like,
by the way. So, Anthony, explain to the audio listeners what we're looking at here.
So, for the audio listeners, well, dude, all I can stare at is Andrew's fucking shirt because I'm so jealous that he has that shirt.
It's
He's
not
got
the point.
Shirt on right now, dude.
Get to it. Get to it.
Huh?
Okay.
Do they look alike?
Joel, explain the
okay, so we were backstage with Brian, and then Andrew was like, I think it was a Key Club or it was something like that in LA, and Brian was, and actually Brian Slagle was back there too from Metal Blade. But I remember going like, Andrew, you look fucking a lot like Brian, and I was like, Brian, get over here, and I like made them take a picture together. And Brian made a weird face. Yeah, he made like a weird face for it, but Andrew's just all, yeah, man, because it's like unlimited paps. Like there's like 300 paps back there, and like all these, you know, shit, all their writer stuff with the shots and all the things. But yeah, I made them take a picture, and Brian made kind of a funny face, but I still see they looked like walking around. I think I called Brian Andrew once, and I was like,
it definitely looks like Andrew's like the younger brother in this.
Yeah.
Didn't Andrew get mistaken for him or something? Didn't she?
You guys look so like, I mean,
or he was like talking to chicks or something, being like, yeah, dude, I'm the guy from Black Dahlia or something like. No, he's like, I'm the guy from Gypsyhawk, or wasn't even then yet. I don't even know.
All right,
it's not around.
All right,
okay, I'll throw myself under the bus right here.
You remember? I have no idea. I feel like
Joel was like, dude, you got to meet the guy from Black Dahlia. You guys look exactly the same. And I was like, okay. I was like, oh, he kind of looks like me. Cool. And maybe someone like mistaked me for him. I can't remember. But then we went to the Rainbow afterwards, and I was talking to this chick, and I was like, hey, I'm the dude in Black Dahlia Murder. And she was like, really? You want to go do cocaine in the bathroom with me? And I was like, I don't do drugs, but go to the bathroom with you anyway. And we went to the bathroom, and whatever, like nothing really happened. But the next day, you guys were playing in like Pomona or something, and I went out to that show too.
That's
and
right.
You're like, dude, that chick you were talking to in the bathroom, they said you were in the Black Dahlia murder. She's friends with them. She told them how you were going around telling everyone you were. I was like, what? Oh no!
I don't even remember that. Jesus Christ.
That's right. That's right. I remember some crazy story with it,
which I wouldn't have even thought of if Joel wasn't. Whatever. Obviously, we were partying. I drank all of their Pabst Blue Ribbon. And she was in the bathroom and stuff. So yeah, but I was like, oh shit. I was really embarrassed. And you were like, they didn't really care. I don't know if they did or not. They probably
didn't care because I don't even remember. Yeah, that's. I mean, there's been times where they've cared, where I've brought people backstage and they have fucked up their backstage room and stuff.
I was there that night.
Yeah, you were there that night. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was one member of Animosity. So and so I remember after that, like, because one of them was just hammered, and they have bottles everywhere. They have their clothes and shit and bags and stuff. It's like the main backstage of Slim's. And one dude is so drunk, he's like, whatever, dude. Just like takes one sip off a vodka bottle, like chugs it, and just slams it against the wall, and it just like shatters all over bags and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and then I'm sitting there, and they're like, the tour manager's like, Joel. So it felt like a reality show kind of. Now that I watched that whole Ozfest thing the other night. Joel, and they brought me, and I was standing on the ground level of Slim's while all of Black Dahlia was just like, so what's going on? What happened? What's going on? And I was like, I mean, I was all close with them at that time, so it wasn't that bad. But at the time, I was like, I mean, someone got super hammered and they blew it, and I'm sorry. And they were about to go on. Animosity was about to tour with Black Dahlia like in a month or two, and so I remember hanging out with that person afterwards, and they're like, dude, they're gonna kick us off the tour. They don't want us off the tour now. And I was like, I mean, I didn't throw a fucking bottle against the wall. You know, it's like at Slim's to like shatter it, and like all this alcohol goes everywhere. And then like I'm like, I'll talk to him, and we both talked to him, and I was like, he's blacked out. Well, he's not gonna drink much. He doesn't really drink much in the beginning, so that's why like he was chugging vodka and he blacked out and did something stupid. Like
I was in the car with
Gene Hoglan was backstage.
I remember that.
Like, yeah, everyone was like backstage.
Well, I made a idiot of myself. We all made idiots of ourselves that night. Dude.
I got in a car accident right before that too. I was like,
Bryce got pulled over. My wife got pulled over with me and said person you were talking about earlier, and Dan Kenny all passed out in the car. It was a mess. It was only liquor bottles. There was no beers. We were just hitting vodka and Jaeger bottles that whole night. And I literally just made an idiot of myself.
And Black Dahlia was being super sweet, and like R.I.P. Trevor and Brian was like, yeah, bring whoever you want back. We trust you. And then that happened, and the trust was a little worn.
That was where it went too far, because we could have all done what we were doing and been fine, but what was happening in that one room you're talking about, that was.
And I was telling him, I was like, I had to be the dude to be like, well, you got, I mean, do what you need to do, man. Like I don't know what to tell you. I'll vouch for him as much as I can. I don't really agree with what happened back there either. I'm pretty pissed. So like I was like pissed.
We weren't there to do that.
Yeah. No, I was like, really? Like you're gonna fucking go back there and just like destroy like all the free alcohol you have and stuff and like throw it against walls. And I'm like,
we're like we were invited into that environment. So other than just drinking too much and being
silly,
blubbering idiots, that's all we did. But that person went a little farther.
And they're one of the chiller people too. That's what made it funnier. But looking back in retrospect. But you guys go ahead.
I was gonna say it's amazing what the headliner gets that you do not. Not as a complaint. It's just like, man, being the headliner is the dopest.
Well, it's no complaint for us because we joined that tour and they're like, oh, 3/4 of it's sold out already. Without even being added to the flyer. Like it's already sold out. Like it's like we just want to show people you guys, you know.
So,
I made it like extra, like, fuck, sorry, dude. Like, you know.
Well, like Casey was saying about going to the Black Dahlia murder, how that was like a real big deal for him because he was a real big fan. When I got the email from the dude at the agency, the booking agent, Josh, I can't remember his name's probably he's still on my phone.
Was it the agency?
Yeah.
I think that was Black Dahlia's at the time.
Probably. He booked like all those bands, I think.
Yeah.
And he hit me up. He's like, "Hey, would you guys like to go on tour with the Sword?" And I was like, I did a fucking Aaron Rodgers, like, boom, like I was like I loved that was another band that made me want to like tour and stuff too, because I was like I was saying, I was like, I can't do death metal. I want to do this something that's like stoner rock, Longzilla meets death. And then I heard the Sword. I was like, dude, they're kind of like on that next part. I remember Josh called me up. I had just moved back to LA. And he's like, dude, you have no idea what this band is I just heard at the record store. They're like a mix of Mammothus.
That's not Josh.
Clean face Andrew, dude.
Yeah. And I got really into them. And so and like I said, I just like all I wanted to do was go on a tour. And then I got offered to go on tour with the Sword, which was like the band, the existing band that would have made the most sense that I would want to go on tour with the most. And we got to do that. And we were in Baton Rouge. It was like we did 2 legs of the tour. There was like a week in the middle. And the last night of the first leg was in Baton Rouge. And then we had a nice big green room we were all sharing together. And we come in after, I think it was after the Sword set, you know, and we get told by the tour manager, like, dude, the dudes in the Swords all had their wallets stolen and their cell phones. Like, what's up with that? And I was like,
we're broke.
Why are you asking me? I was like, who'd you bring up here? He's like, we didn't bring anyone up here. What are you talking about? It turned out it turned into a whole fiasco. And then like from the rest of the tour, the second leg, we had to be in a separate like green room from them. And they were like a little standoffish. They were still like mostly cool, but I think they were just kind of like
a hint of you might have done this. You might have
done this.
You guys
sprinkle of that.
Gypsyhawk, dude. What are you guys doing here? Dude?
Yeah, I was like, dude, I've been the biggest Punisher this whole tour, and you know it. Like, I just be like, hey, you guys remember when you came out with that album Age of Winters? And they're like, yeah, our first album. And I was like,
that was awesome.
That was awesome. I was like that the whole time. I was like, you can't possibly think I would steal your shit.
I mean, but you could possibly think it if you're an overthinker, you'd be like, oh, he's so into it that he wants our fucking like our personal property, dude. Like,
yeah,
you want, like, you know,
I don't want all their information, dude.
I guess that makes sense. I was like, that's definitely the guy. I remember JD was like, I don't know why anyone would steal my phone unless they want to like have Lars Ulrich's phone number or something. Because the fucking when we played in San Francisco, Lars and James came up because they love the Sword so much and like we're hanging out with us.
Jesus.
And they were also at the Metal Blade showcase we did for the 30th anniversary one with Sacred Reich and one of those other bands. Another band we didn't really feel. And you know who else was there? Rest in peace. And I got to meet. He came backstage. Luke Perry.
Oh,
he's a metal fan.
Really?
And he was cool as fuck.
Well, how was he?
Like, what's up? How's it going? I'm Luke. Nice to meet you. I was like, I know who you are. I saw you on TV from age 9 to 16.
Yeah,
almost every day.
Wait, he's a metalhead. That's crazy.
Yeah, he was there, and he was really cool. And,
awesome. Damn.
One of the guys got a picture with him. I didn't, but it was that
how
same
many secret metalheads there are in like.
Was Jason Momoa's like it's not secret, but there's the guy from Breaking Bad, that the guy with like kind of cerebral palsy guy in Breaking Bad. Remember that?
I never actually.
He shows up at metal shows.
That's like, not Jason Momoa.
No. They're 2 different people. I went through 2 people, but Jason Momoa will like. I'll have like friends like be like, oh, backstage, and it's just them and Jason Momoa. I'm like, what the fuck? Like he's like super into metal. Like
that's what's up.
Oh yeah.
Like the more kind of like baseline popular Metallica, Slayer, Pantera. Like he's not like anything crazier than that. But like yeah, that's there's people too, like, you know, like Danny Carey from Tool will just go to a Cattle Decap show or something, you know, like
Really?
just
He went to a show that we were on tour with Valiant Thor and Ramming Speed, but we only did the East Coast leg, and when they did the West Coast leg and we're playing in LA, they hit me up, and I don't know, I think my phone was off or something, but they were like, dude, we're hanging out at Danny Carey's house. I guess he had gone to that show. And was like, you guys should all come party at my house. He loved Valiant Thor that much. For some reason.
No, the certain bands he just picks out, no matter if they're unsigned or anything. He's like, fuck yeah, he'll be there. You know, I'm like a 6'7" drumming monster. Anyways, but no, that's cool, man. Sword and fucking having. So did did you see them while you were playing?
No.
Okay. That'd be a nightmare.
That would be. It was weird enough having the dudes in the Sword like looking at us at sound check on the first show. If fucking James Hetfield was there with his arms crossed, being like, "Let me see you do that," I would have been like,
"That
you can."
Ian's right. So Intronaut got to tour with Tool because Danny Carey was into him, and Joe Lester. You know Joe Lester, right?
Yeah, I know Joe Lester.
Yeah.
We actually played a show with them as well. But I know Joe Lester because he went to Santa Cruz.
Yeah. That's crazy.
You talked to him on the show. Go back to his episode, listeners, if you
that's rad,
man. Yeah, Santa Cruz was a cool place. Like I didn't really mind living there. I thought it was pretty fun. Like
Steel Reserve 40.
Like wasn't all bad, you know. It was pretty
Why am I the only one holding the 40?
Jesus.
This is the furniture dome.
David
Jack
fucking
Daniels?
Emmett, dude, an Emmett hoodie, dude. David always had to have the cutty undo shit.
I know.
Joel's favorite band of the time was
Jack. Yeah, dude. See, Josh needs to fucking come on the show too.
I've tried. He was gonna tried so many.
He's been mentioned so many times, dude. He has, and he's a drummer. He was a drummer in a band too. He's got a band to talk about as well. He needs to be on, dude.
And shout out to Josh because he's the same dude. I have texts from him from a day or two ago going, check out this band, dude. They're fucking sick. Yeah. They have elements of this and elements of he's doing the same thing he did. He showed me so many cool bands when I was younger, like Gorod and so many bands. Like
if it comes to if we're all metaphorically digging in the dirt for all the underground shit, that dude has dug the deepest.
Yeah,
out of
he's insatiable.
Yeah,
he's dug the deepest and the widest out of all of us, and just is always finding all these awesome little trinkets that are buried underneath the crust of the planet.
Crust.
Crust punk, what up?
No, he was I still hold one thing over him till the day I die. Was like, and even fucking Anthony, Jesus, Josh, all right, Andrew brought up a thing in a group chat the other day about how I was like, dude, Spawn Possession, you guys have to see Spawn Possession, they're the sickest, and Josh was a little, nah, they're not that good. when I first met Odious, I first met David outside because he was underage and couldn't go inside to an Origin show in Aptos. And it was me, David, and Josh smoking cigarettes outside. I was 19 or 20, and I was 20, and I was like, he's all fucking. It's all about God damn it, what's the band? Derek Boyer's old band. Deprecated. He's all deprecated. They were just all just deprecating me. They were like getting so deprecating, and I was like, okay, I'll check him out. I'm like, dude, with Spawn Possession, and Josh was all, oh, I heard a song by them. Right.
On the way home, Casey was probably driving sober the truck. We were all just lying in the back with a bottle of Wild Turkey. Right. And Josh was like, dude, that band, Spawn Possession, that guy was talking about, not that good. And then you're in the band 2 days later. I was like, oh, you guys.
So I never let him live that down because because he finds all the cool things. So I found or you guys already heard Necrophagus, but I was like Necrophagus, like, yeah, we heard Necrophagus, and I was all Spawn Possession. I'm like, they're like, Josh is like, nah, because I don't think he actually. My guess is, if I were to guess, because he was the guy to find the music for everyone, the fact that he didn't really know much about him, he was like, nah.
Remember the face you would make? You'd be like, dude, no.
Yeah. But dude, he would even turn me on to still some like hip hop shit that I love to this day too. So it wasn't just metal. Like
he's always down the right vein of what it won't always hit with you what he shows you, but sometimes it'll fucking hit aggressively. You know, he's always.
This is the thing with Josh. Josh, he would gain your respect enough to where if he had something that he wanted you to listen to, you would actually sit down and listen. With him.
Well, he'd make a big deal about it too. He'd make a big.
You wouldn't just be like, "Oh, whatever, dude." It actually is like you put it into the gear where you're like, "All right, I'm gonna try and absorb this right now and give my review to him," because that's what he wanted.
Yeah,
he just wanted to show music to people to be like, "What do you think?"
You want to be like a certain party, be like,
let's have a conversation about it. Yeah, and that's what it really is all about, dude. Is just having the conversation about it, and those were probably 75% of what we talked about in those days. Were just like, check out what I like. What do you like?
Well, there is a human instinct though that we've talked about a million times about like showing each other shit. Like, so like when people want to show me shit, I'm not like excited to like check it out for some reason. I still have it
on your own.
There's
that sub.
You want to be the first to find out about it.
Discover it first. So
it's like
if you don't discover it first, it already gets knocked down when you listen to it.
Josh would like bring you by the warm fire. He'd be like, "All right, dude, pack you bowl." Like, "All right,
pack a bowl."
He's like, "Trust me for you." He's like, "Trust me." And it's like you trust Josh to like, okay, he's gonna show me something interesting. I don't know if it's gonna be my thing. I don't know if it's gonna be like what I'm gonna be or my new favorite band, but it's definitely gonna be interesting. And there's many times where I'm just like, "Yeah, man, cool," and I'm just like, "Oh shit, I really do like this. This is really sick." Like Josh showed me Canvas Solaris the first time, or all Anata, or like a bunch of bands I've never
Carry Gear. I'm gonna give Carry Gear both those bands.
Posthumous Blasphemer.
I would give Canvas.
By the way, but I mean, like Carrie and like we would hang with Josh a bunch. And you guys, but Carrie was like closer to you, and we were closer to Josh in the beginning, and then we all kind of like.
No, it's all about like who, because it does make an impact on you, like a band that you really are into, whether like who showed it to you. Like how did you procure this band? If you procured it on your own, then that actually kind of gives it a little judge. Well, like
you're like, I'm the one that found it.
It's a conundrum because once you discover something, then you want to give it to all your homies who want to have that same feeling. So it's like, but we still succumb to the homies because we respected each other to be like, okay, no, you're not just some random person trying to show me some fucking prosthetic cunt band or something like that,
But at the same time though, what's the feeling that you get when you're excited? You're like I found the band that I need to show my friends, and then like Josh or someone's still like
right?
You're so excited, and then that brings even more competition. Everyone's like, "Wait, you like the band that he showed you guys, but my band that I showed you sucks."
I gotta give him
competition.
Spastic Ink is the one that I went into his room at the furniture drum. He had the biggest room out of all you guys, surrounded by records, and he's just like, sit down and listen to this.
That's not the one. That's not the person.
Well, you brought Spastic. You brought Spastic to the house.
See, I still have it. See, look at me. I'm like reacting to you. Like my brother showed it to me like before I met Casey or anyone. Like,
I know. I just did that with Canvas because that's true. I brought Canvas.
That is so funny. That's like I care about that. I'm like, no.
I definitely care about it still.
It was me. Wasn't him. It was like, why? Who gives a shit? We're fucking 40.
I know, dude.
But it did matter. Together. Like at a time when you were younger, like there was the new kid who came to the school that like sort of brought punk rock and introduced it to us.
Yep.
And even though we were sort of like teetering on that edge at that point because like Nirvana was dead, and like we had read the Nirvana book and like knew that it was like punk rock was the influence. And he was like, "You hear this band? You hear this band? This band?" We're like, "No, this is so cool." And I remember like. There was this. He like finally got mad at. It was like after like a year and a half, And he's like, none of you guys ever bring any music into the. I have to introduce you guys to everything. And I was like, hey, I showed you Guttermouth. He's like, all right, Andrew brings at least one band. Stuff like that. And
So good.
but especially back then, it was hard. Like, how do you find it? You just go buy the record.
You have to find it physically. You have to
dude.
Yeah, you can't just be like, here's a link.
You read your magazine reviews.
But then there was oh, you bought that? Did you even hear it before? Have you even heard that before? Right. You bought that? You never even heard it before? You're like, no, you played it for me the other day. Oh yeah.
Or you just
that was just stupid kid stuff.
You go off the artwork and the record label.
I remember when David bought that Dripping CD.
Yeah.
And he was just, I was like, how did you know that this would be good? He's like, well, first of all, it had the name Dripping. I was like, okay. He's like, it's from New Jersey. I was like, all right. He's like, and it was produced by a Japanese guy. And I was like, so that's how you knew it'd be good.
The name is like a sentence, and all the song names are sentences.
Yeah. And
that's the formula. Is all New Jersey Japanese producer.
I was like, okay, so I just gotta find looking stuff with a Japanese producer.
Dripping is kind of lumped into the category of like the cutting off the boundaries, because they'll cut into a hip hop beat or a techno beat or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Or a sample. And that is like the defined lines between genres, the genre hopping thing that Bungle made so popular. But the blending of things that we're talking about is something that's more new, at least done well enough to be accepted in the new.
I would think of a band like Bungle, but also like for death metal would be like Sleep Terror, where it'd be like but then
you got to disfigure the goddess. You got to disfigure the goddess that blends the
blending shit better, where it's like it brings you into something and then drops a heavy thing into it and like brings you out of it. And it's like, I think people with, especially the producing, because back then everyone was just fucking people in garages and their own jam studios. They weren't like sitting at their fucking like 50 million core computers going like, oh well, I'm gonna go ahead and drop this into this and the sample, bring this, cut this up, blah blah. Like now all those tools are there, and I think it's made it more of a smooth transition to have more genres.
If you just look at that as the natural progression of things, I guess things get exponentially weird no matter what we're talking about, whether it be art or technology. I'm not trying to make it a technology conversation now, because I actually want to get into Andrew. I want to get into his childhood.
Boring.
2 years into this, and I want to know what it was like to be Andrew Packer.
It's too late now. It's too late.
No, I'm.
Do I need to pay Chris Barnes again,
dude? Especially since you're an OG friend of ours, and I want to know what it was like to be you before I met you. And you said you started playing guitar at 11, so I want to know what that first decade was like. I want to know what type of music your family was into, what you were hearing as a child. Or if it wasn't even music, if it was art or something else that grabbed you creatively.
Okay. So I guess since you brought up what my parents were listening to, I grew up in a house where my dad said the Rolling Stones were the greatest band, and my mom said the Beach Boys were the greatest band. And then there was also a lot of, my dad's also really into classical music, so that was always present. And they tried to get me to take piano lessons in first grade, and that did not stick. I didn't like being told what to do, and honestly, I wasn't even that into music. I kind of like the first music I was like actually into, I think, was Do the Bartman. The Simpsons Sing the Blues. And I remember like we'd go to my grandparents' house, and like I didn't know how to work the cable because we didn't have cable at my house. But my cousin had been there recently, and she was like 7 years older, and so she had it on the MTV channel, and I would just sit there like, I guess, waiting for the Do the Bartman video to come on because I love The Simpsons so much. And then I think for some reason music started jiving with me, and I remember for my 9th birthday, I asked for Michael Jackson's "Dangerous" that had just come out. And I probably liked it because Macaulay Culkin was in the video, and
I did too.
Really cool to me. Right Said Fred, I like that song. I'm Too Sexy.
Nice.
A lot. Crisscross, it just come out.
Oh hell yeah!
They would make you jump. And there was a 4th of Vanilla Ice, of course. Oh, and Hammer. Hammer was that like Hammer was the
crisscross?
Shit.
No crisscross or what?
No crisscross.
Crisscross, yeah.
Crisscross.
Okay.
They made you jump. I actually made a music. Me and my friend and I made a rap video where we put on our clothes backwards and we jumped in my.
I went as far as wore my clothes backwards to school, and then
I did too. I did one day.
That being at a urinal is really difficult.
Yeah, it didn't work out. You need a whole fucking costume department to help.
But at that age, you pull your pants all the way down though. So it doesn't really.
I never did that. I'm sure you did.
You never did that.
You got to unbutton and then zip down.
You know that's a lie. Maury Povich for that's a lie.
Pull them all the way down.
No, that's for
first grade. You pull them all the way down because you don't know what the fuck to do.
In first grade,
I just flop-plomped over the top.
What are you talking about?
Girl, I put my wiener across the trough. And
I fucking turn around and point it backwards, dude. What are you talking about?
It's been a while since I've been in first grade.
I wore a diaper.
I see people sometimes like in like adult things when they have theirs like almost to their kneecaps like down and they're pissing like at a urinal. I'm like, cool, so your butt's out, your booty's out. But
weird.
When I was a kid, you don't have I didn't know that wearing boxers was cool until I had tidy whities in my junior high school gym class, and everyone else was like, "What the fuck are you wearing, dude? Like an idiot."
That's
Well, Joel, I don't know how to explain that, but all I can talk about is how I like to take a piss, and it was definitely not with my pants backwards.
Nah,
I like to have a nice fly.
I didn't say backwards. I said like it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're backwards or forwards if they're at your fucking ankles. Is all I'm saying.
But it's bad physics.
Showed his cheeks until 5th grade. Dude.
It's all bad physics. Like
you guys are all lying. You guys all did it.
No,
you guys
are
all saying you didn't do
first grade.
So I don't like liars.
I don't know.
So just the
point
lying.
is,
I'm gonna be.
To think about it, though,
like serious right now, dude. I have no memory of ever pulling my pants.
I don't have a memory either.
I don't either, dude. I know
that's a kid piss thing. You just pull your pants down.
You're a kid piss thing.
Joel, I'm sorry.
Whatever, dude. You have a green hat that matches your background. I can't even see your fucking head.
You're the one who still pulls his pants down to take a piss.
Yeah.
Whatever. I did it last week, dude.
It actually probably is pretty free feeling.
There's probably geniuses who are like, yeah, this is obviously the way you take a piss. It's a logical way.
Yeah, Einstein might have done it till his, his late 30s.
He might have. Yeah. He might have. Because, getting a drip on there is always a risk otherwise.
I'm now imagining Einstein literally taking a piss with his pants down by his knees. I
want the listeners to imagine
it. He's like, I don't remember what door I'm supposed to go to sleep, but here's this equation in my head.
Yeah, he probably had his
missing
Sharpie.
The urinal. He's shooting to the side. He doesn't even care, dude.
Yeah,
it's just like E equals MC squared, dude.
When I was a kid, I was trying to coming up with the theory of relativity. He can't be bothered with focusing on not getting a drop on his pants.
Yeah.
So okay, Joel, you are the Einstein of playing bass, and you put your pants down as a grown man, so you can think about sick bass lines. Anyway,
you guys are all liars. All right, keep going.
But MC Hammer was a shit, and that was my first concert I went to. My friend's mom took me and his son, her son, my friend, and another friend, and it was back row seats at Irvine Meadows. Now it's Verizon. I think they changed it again, but it was Verizon Wireless. But it was rad, and I remember I just learned the word virgin, and I asked my friend Nick. I was like, "Are you a virgin?" And these like 19-year-old girls standing in front of us looked back like, "What the fuck?" And his mom was like, "They just learned that word."
It's like, I was like, what's up with the vagina when you like I remember like mispronouncing fucking.
It was a vagina until I was 17.
Definitely did teach us a lot.
I remember asking my dad, like, "What's a vagina?" It's like my dad didn't even. My dad didn't. I remember that memory. I don't know why. I don't remember what road we were on in Aptos. I'm like, "What's a vagina?" Like, I thought it was vagina for like a long time.
I thought it was too. I don't.
Speaking of which, you remember that show we played? What was it? In Hollywood, the Key Club or something? Or no, is it the Knitting Factory? And after we played, it turned into like a industrial gothic like nightclub.
Yeah, that was in the Knitting Factory.
Knitting Factory, right? Yeah, it was like right after the death metal show ended. It was like boom. Now it's like a gothic like
immediately.
First picture I was have like on my
bondage. Everyone's in bondage, like all this shit. And it's like pictures of Anthony or no Andrew like dancing with like a death metal shirt.
Yeah. Are you wearing a carnivorous?
That's my first picture on
Hollywood. Yeah, that
Facebook, I think.
Or no, Kate. Joel's wearing the carnivorous shirt. I
Damn,
just
you remember that
always
picture
seeing
of that
in the MySpace days being like, that guy's wearing a carnivorous shirt.
But then you don't remember pissing with your pants all the way down as a kid?
Dude, I don't fucking remember doing that. I don't
remember either.
I would die on that hill with you if it was.
I just love that we think that we just know how to do everything right off the bat. Like, yeah, first grade, it's like, yeah, this is how you do everything, dude. Like, I got all this shit down. You wear these pants, you do this thing. Like, you're just.
It's
I used to try to arc.
This is how honest I am. I could remember more times shitting my pants than ever pulling my pants down to pee.
I can tell funny stories about shitting my pants when I was a kid, but I don't remember ever pulling my shorts down.
Here's the number one problem with that is like you're done, then you gotta bend all the way down and pull your shorts up.
Yeah, now your face is in the urinal.
Sick, dude. Yeah, that's fun. Like bend down all naked and pick up your fucking trousers.
Get some extra trickle.
Look, you're a fucking toddler.
Splash, dude. The splash.
You're a toddler.
Well, toddler.
You haven't watched TV. You haven't. You don't
doing it last Tuesday.
No,
you said you were doing it in third grade, though.
Yeah,
I thought third grade. Why'd you go up by 2 grades? You 2 graded me right there. By third grade, I knew not to do that. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm saying I
you're the one that's hanging on to this.
No, crisscross was no.
Next time I talk to Chris Barnes, I'm like, you gotta make fun of Joel.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a part 2 with Chris Barnes for sure.
Crisscross was first grade. Crisscross was first grade, so I said it didn't matter that I went to the bathroom because I threw my pants on the ground because I was a fucking toddler, and I pissed like how I pissed without any instruction.
Okay, gotcha.
Like you guys all did and won't admit.
If we ever get,
I will cleanly admit it.
That Joel wanted people to see his booty cheek.
Because how would I piss correctly with my fucking crisscross pants on backwards? Like, do the math. Like, come on, green hat, motherfucker. All right,
dude, my hat matches the background because of the fucking lighting. Okay, I'm sorry, it's a gray beanie.
It's good lighting though. Decent beanie.
It's a great beanie.
All right. So, all right, Andrew, tell me about getting into adolescence. You said 11 was when you started playing guitar,
right? So
I want to know about friends and shit too. Was it cousins, friends, brothers, sisters? Who was feeding you music at a young age?
My brother was feeding me some music, but I was my brother's 15 years older than me, and he grew up. So in 1983, when I was born, he was 15, living in the Valley, into thrash, and he was there like with Metallica from the beginning, and he turned me on to DRI after I started getting to rock and roll. But like, I don't know how I started listening to rock and roll. I think I just was sort of naturally liking music, and I went from like listening to like I graduated from MC Hammer to Naughty by Nature with Hip Hop Hooray when I saw them play it on in Living Color. And then I think I like heard the Chili Peppers or Pearl Jam or something like that, and started like wanting to watch MTV, and was like sort of being like, I'm into rock and roll now. And then I remember my friend was like, do you like Nirvana? I was like, Nirvana sucks, even though I never heard them before. And then when I saw the fucking heart-shaped box video like premiere, it was the first time I heard Nirvana, and I just went like, what the fuck is this? I want to play guitar. And that it just sort of like, that's when I said, Dad, I want to play guitar. He's like, cool, I already bought you a bass but kept it for myself, because my dad was in bands when he was younger, and he told me later like that take his word with a grain of salt, whatever. But he bought this fucking rad Fender P bass, and he said he wanted to give it to me to like so I would get into playing rock and roll. But then when he got it and was like playing it, he was like, "I'm just gonna keep this for myself." But I was seeing him play bass, and I was like, "That is cool." Like playing it, I didn't even know what the difference was between a guitar and a bass at the time. So when I told him like finally later, like, yeah, I want to play guitar, he was like, hell yeah. And he got me a Squire Strat for my 11th birthday. And at that point, Kurt Cobain had killed himself. And that was really devastating. That was fucking weird. When you're
what kind of shotgun did your dad buy? Sorry, I need to go pee.
That's cool.
That's cool.
It was, yeah. So
yeah, that's a devastating thing, dude. That's so. And you were about to say a weird thing for somebody at that age to.
Yeah, I mean, how many 10-year-olds like know about like suicide, really, and like that's how they learn about.
I'm a father of 3, and so far, I've never really had that discussion with any of them. It's a tough one to.
Yeah,
and then you just hear about it with your hero or whatever if you're a Nirvana fan at that time.
Yeah, I was like, is this a thing that happens? Like, does this happen to other people who are like, like Michael Jordan didn't kill himself for all the kids who love basketball. Joe Montana didn't. Like, John Lennon didn't. It was a very strange and very like hard to deal with at a young age. But
I don't think I've actually fully dealt with it, to be honest. I think I was one of those kids that was like, oh shit, that's weird. I'm gonna divert my attention to other popular aspects of fucking whatever,
right.
I'm not gonna put my attention to that because that's crazy,
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah, it was crazy. I don't really remember exact, but I think I was very fortunate, and probably a lot of people could say the same thing, that like a band like Green Day came out at that time,
right?
And they were just like that song, Basket Case.
Yeah.
So I'm like starting to learn guitar, and that came out, and that's a easy song to learn how to play on guitar, and it was just like, okay, cool. And so it was nice, like having this like wanting to learn guitar and learn how to play songs, and like being interested in songs that aren't, it's not like I was at a rush or something. Like probably would have discouraged me, been like, this sucks, I don't want to do it. It was like
for me that time it was like Green Day and then Offspring, that Smash album, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
The feeling of connecting with the song on some level, and then being able to play it on an instrument, whatever instrument you decide to try and play it on, and then succeeding, that feeling at a young age is probably literally the main root of why any of us continue trying to do something in music, right?
Yeah.
When it's something that, even if it's, you were saying the songs are easy to learn and play, but to accomplish something even at a low beginner level shows you that you can get to the end of the journey of learning a song and execute it, and then you move on to the next challenge.
Exactly. Then it's like, what's next?
Totally,
because you had to, like, it wasn't I had to learn like some scales and some basic stuff. I was taking guitar lessons, so it was like not fun at first, but then once my guitar teacher was like, okay, let's like learn a song you want to learn, and then you're actually playing it and you're playing along to the CD, it was just like at that age it's fucking incredible.
Dude, just to reiterate the fact that you had a connection with the song. It's not about, because you talk about the parents wanting you to play piano at a young age and it didn't click. Same thing happened with me, dude. When you say that, I think about my time with piano, and I was learning what I should have been learning, but I wasn't connected to the music that I was playing. So I wasn't excited about what I was doing. And so if there's a way to translate that into just finding a song that the kid actually connects with,
I think the main thing is what I've been learning later on in life, because I like hate like what Andrew did in school at UCSC, like what he's done later in life. Like I don't have that in me at all. Like I don't have, but there has been certain teachers that have made me excited about it and made me get into it. And sometimes the way people teach shit, I'm just like, I just can't follow. I'm just, I'm like, Jesus. It's fucking.
You're just talking about academics in general.
Yeah, but like to get into something. I mean, the first time I ever fucking, like what Andrew was saying, the first time I've talked about it, before, but like the first guitar lesson, my mom's like, I got you a guitar lesson with he's in that band Montrose, which is like it was like a classic rock band.
Oh yeah.
And it was
Sammy Hagar was in that band.
Yeah, it was it was like a Capitola guitar or a music store in Capitola by Big Five on 41st Avenue. But she dropped me off there, and he's just like, all right, so here's the major scale. And I'm like a kid going like, do, re, mi, fa, sol, like fuck.
Yeah, you're just in school.
Yeah, I'm like, first of all, get me to fucking, now I like love the major scale and understand how it works, and like I understand all the ins and outs of it. But to start me off with like do, ra, fa, I was like, brother, like get me psyched on it first. I want to play guitar. I want to hear me playing to
by Michael Jackson on the Dangerous album, dude.
Well, I just want to hear me playing to something, though. I want to hear me playing a song.
That's a killer, catchy riff that most kids.
Actually, the first guitar riff most like guitar players back then were learning, like they would teach you, was this fucking Teen Spirit. Smells Like Teen Spirit. They're just like, they're all put your fingers like this. They're all done.
The power chord is
and they're like, whoa, it sounds like the radio thing I heard, and then once you make that connection of like, whoa, I'm playing music, kind of, I want to do this more and keep progressing.
It doesn't instill power in you once you do a power chord.
Oh yeah, I definitely was like, this is all I need to know.
Yeah. For a while. And then Drop D came along. You're just like, dude, what the fuck? This is a power chord like everywhere.
I basically took power chords and like the 12-bar blues.
Yeah.
And that's kind of all I've needed.
Yeah. I mean, for me, actually, if I pick up a guitar right now, like the first thing I'll do is like a pentatonic run, because it's fun. It's like I feel like I can like just kind of like have soul to something and not just feel like I can like kind of like I'm like I know the whole like pentatonic across the fretboard, so I'm like, so
I'm fucking tastic.
It's so much fun. You can express yourself on it with just freestyling in any mindset. Just go like, I'm gonna solo do some fun bends.
It's really cool. There's what's cool, the pentatonic stuff is of course doing like the hammer on kind of things with it and like moving into different positions and stuff. But like I remember like seeing this little like string skipping trick like on that song Images, like Cacophony. It's like it's like this, like you skip over these strings and do like a say you're pentatonic, whatever, E minor or something, and you're going like third string to first string, and then you go to fourth string to second string, and then fifth string to or third string. Anyways, but patterns, and you can jump around. There's so many positions, and it's like, I mean, of course, knowing major and minor scales and modal scales and altered scales and chromatic scales and all these different things and whatever, but like it's so cool, even all the jazz greats and all the dudes like use pentatonics because those intervals and the way that they're combined, like pentatonics just are so great. Like you gotta take out those two notes sometimes in the scale, to get those.
Like,
just
animals as leaders will use it, and you just won't know because they're tapping it or something, and you're like, it's like, it sounds like some proggy crazy thing, but it's just pentatonic.
It's like pentatonic, and then like major and minor kind of thing, and then there's modal, and those like three. I mean, there's way more than that, but those three flavors are so like commonly usable, like as like a language in the sense of like you would just like speak that. So and they interchange those so well with added chromatics and things, but it's like, oh, it's a little pentatonic-y, and then a little minor major, then a little Dorian, or like whatever. It just like, it's like flowing in and out of that stuff just gives you
jam with people super easily.
Basically all like everything you need at your fingertips, because even like in one and with in one position you can be in one position and go in between like natural minor or Dorian, like with the pentatonic, and it doesn't like have either of those notes in it. Doesn't have a sixth. And so it's like you're not going to be
like the same, right?
Or like a minor pentatonic. So you're not going to be like minor 6 or major 6 being like Dorian or natural minor. So it's like you can just like skip that and then pull it back in or not. And so like you have like 3 different like identities of a minor, but like, you know what I mean? Like you can just do so much.
When you go to the cold stone of music and you get up there, you're like, you want all 3 of the flavors at once, dude. And what would be
then of course Phrygian too in there. Yeah.
So
well, I think
you said 3 flavors, and then I want some toppings too.
All the minors.
Toppings and
yeah, some little cherries.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can just put in a little extra something on top. But I wish I knew how to play scales on the piano better. But
yeah, I suck at piano.
But I think like the pentatonic is just like made for the guitar. It just fits that instrument so well. It gives you so much control, and you could just like do so much in a little space, and then like replicate some of the same patterns up. And if you just like know a little bit more about there, you can get so many more sounds, and then it like gives you so much like space to like bend notes really big and get more out of it, and just like really feel it like in like a Hendrix sort of way, without like
if you
it's not, it doesn't require as much like preciseness in a way. It just is just like hey, this is the guitar.
You're just like angry at the guitar. You can like you can show that you're angry at or like want to show your emotion at an instrument because it's like all the I get I remember like learning Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd on the solo, and like I was like looking at the tabs and I was like, oh shit, I'm just like it's all right here. I was like I was like
it's like it's not like this crazy changing around.
And I was like, oh shit, this is like my favorite solo of all time. Oh, it's all I can just get everything right here. Like,
but if you take a piano, there's like 2 black keys and then 3 black keys and then 2 black. So if you start on E flat, so it's like of the 2 black keys, the second one on the right, if you start from there, that is a pentatonic. So if you play only black keys starting from there, it's the same thing. It's a pentatonic minor scale.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then of course it relates to the major too. So like just like E and G or whatever, you could be like G flat, same thing. You could start on like G flat and then be like, that's the pentatonic major, kind of thing.
It's like sticking to all the white keys and like I'm in C minor or C major.
Sorry, no, that's not right. E, F, G. No, G major. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. Yeah, it's the same. If you think of it conceptually, or
F like minor. For people that like don't know piano at all, to like do the white keys are in C, dude.
Yeah.
Depending where you start, it could be a mode or whatever, but still, like, I mean, I know that Anthony knows how to play.
Dude, I'm literally
wish you were here
what flavor is Pink Floyd's I Wish You Were Here, dude. I can play that song, dude.
That's all that's B minor. Oh no, Wish You Were Here is whatever G. I got my wires crossed in that last statement, but the point is that like I'm sorry, but the point is this relative major and minor, so like E minor is G major, all that. But whatever. The point is that what you're getting at though is
the drummer, one of the most drilling on guitar.
Stop that! God, no. We're trying to talk about
better than anyone.
Stupid.
That's true. I gotta say,
my friend,
to go to like
a point, and this getting drowned out by dumb. The point is what you're talking about.
Guys pull down their pants and take a piss.
Pull down your pants.
No, you're talking about is. So what you're doing is it's like a singer. So you know your range. Like, okay, this is like talking about Comfortably Numb, B minor, So like everything in that range, dude, like even physically with your fingers, all the hot potato notes in between, every chromatic note, everything in that whole thing is a usable note. Like, but your framework can be pentatonic, but you just jump around that. If they're hot potato notes, don't hold on too long, go back to the frame, like the root notes and everything. But that's just the theory of like what you're actually doing. But the speaking and the singing, just like a singer being like super unique, and that's the fucking David Gilmour, like the soul, the bend, the sexy, the fucking the terror, the scream, everything in the playing. That's all from the soul. That's like utilizing, just like a singer does, the palette of notes that can be hit as a voice. So he's playing as a singer on the guitar. and he's singing that shit, and that's why it goes to your soul. And the technical part is the secondary analysis of what's actually, of course, being trying to think about from our brain what's actually happening. But like when it hits you like that, that's what it really. That's it, dude. That's all.
Jesus, did you restart your computer and you come back like firing with fucking insane? I mean, great fucking
music. Talking about music, dude. I love music.
The thing is, though, Casey,
I love that point. I've never thought about it that way.
What I said too when you were restarting was like a lot of people my guitar lessons earlier were like, here's the major scale. I didn't hear like hot potato notes or that like makes it sort of the way you get taught.
Peter Puppin, my guitar teacher, is what
you had a great teacher. That's what I'm saying. You had a great teacher. It's like when you have that's like a really important thing to have a great teacher or someone that makes you excited to do it. And that's a lot of people like go to school. They're like, I want to go do this thing, and they have a shitty teacher. And then the teacher kind of like I wanted to be into psychology when I was younger. I was like, I'm all into psychology and stuff. And I had a teacher that sucked, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. But there's like, and teachers can inspire you to make like you want to do something. Like I would like to do this, like to get like kind of like a cool, like awesome, like a path where they make it fun. They say hot potato notes. Like I've never heard that, but I get 100% what you said when you said that. And like the ones you can just jump.
I was basically play any note.
I got 5% of what he said, but I paid attention to 100% of what he said because he has those little.
It got me interested.
That's
the thing. Teachers are so important.
I'm like, I should be paying attention.
I wish I could make enough money teaching music. That'd be great, but it doesn't work that way when you get older. But yeah, I used to love that shit, man. I had some great professors. It was so sad. I just found out that one of my favorite teachers of all time in college like passed away like last year, and it was like the 1 year of his memorial. Andrew Spate, SF State, man, a great fucking saxophone player, and he was amazing, dude. And I remember trying out for that jazz big band back then, and like he like picked me as the drummer and was super nice to me, and like was just super compliment. I don't know. And then the teachers I had, they were like really great. But anyways, the point is that I love fucking people that can like take education like to the arts or like whatever it is, but like say the art and music, something like specific, and they can just teach you the technical shit, but they still are just like, no, it's all about that side of the passion and everything like that. And I went to other colleges before, but San Francisco State, like, dude, that's like the real shit. Like they don't fuck, like they're like, what you're going to be like broke on the street, like trying to fucking make it like cut a living doing this. Like it's about like actually being real and being passionate about shit, like not just
but like for me like I have such a hard time like grasping onto things, and so like when I've had teachers that like actually like when like say hot potato, like that's an example, but saying like something that like
likes the hot potato
but linking something together that I was like, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden they can make the link for you. And all of a sudden everything opens up, the fretboard opens up because one person like finally like explained it correctly or for your brain to comprehend. And that's huge.
Do you think part of that's the same thing of us wanting to discover things on our own? If somebody's teaching something to us, it's harder to break through a barrier of sorts.
But you brought up something that made me think. I just watched this video today on YouTube. I watched YouTube in the morning while I'm having my coffee, and it was talking about how why creative people are terrible at getting like 9-to-5 jobs. Is that those types of jobs, and especially like going to being in school and going to graduate school, like we know so many brilliant people. I'm sure you guys I don't know what you're great, but my point being is like we all know creative people who are brilliant that like didn't do great in school because they just like couldn't do it because it's so regimented, and it's so like this is how you do things.
This is the rules.
You have to work within these parameters of doing this. And purely creative people really struggle in that. And and on like on every level, and apparently like when it goes into like graduate school, it's even worse. And then Casey talking about what he's talking about right now made me think like that just shows like how dedicated like it takes for a musician to learn all the theory, all the modes, all the scales, all the fucking basics, all the groundwork that you as a creative person you have to get fucking bypass your fucking desire to do things your way. So, and to learn the most like crazy technical stuff. Like they were telling me in college, like that being a music major was just as difficult as being a physics major.
Whoa.
And
It
like
can be.
it requires that much like dedication and hard work and like intellect.
But they both have the passion. Like a physics major has the passion that a music major has the passion for. So
right,
they want to learn, and like it's like
it almost is. No, not almost. It's a version of a path to enlightenment, dude. It really is. It's shedding ego, because all the things that we've been talking about is our response to it is from our egotistical perspective. And so shedding the ego and gaining the knowledge.
It's hard. Like I couldn't do it. Like I can't.
I'm just
talk theory all day. I just was like, nah, I'm just going to be creative about it, and I'm very limited because of that.
You and Casey blew my mind. Like you guys were going to school all the time and like bringing stuff home and doing your homework and then hanging out. And I was like, for me, that always was like a big issue. I couldn't combine the two worlds of being a social entity and doing school. Those are two things I could not do.
You were like working like an adult, like we were like in
that too,
which is not easy either. But it's all the same.
People do it all the time. People have kids to make a living, and then they have kids and do that, and then they go to school, and then they have kids. And
we had our parents to like help us go to school and all that. You know, like I mean, I don't know, man. Like I think what's really interesting is like putting your brain towards something to learn a trade or something that will like create a career. So like all of us here in this whole square here, we've all had to, you know, and Anthony's been doing, you know, his shit and running that auto business and all kinds of cool technical shit. You're always learning new shit, but you've been doing that for a long time. Joel, you know, you've always had jobs working all these things, and you got into IT way before I did. And then Andrew passing the bar exam, being a fucking lawyer. And then me now being in IT and just fucking trying to keep my head above water, but it's going fine, whatever. But the point is that like, I don't know, man, like we're getting old. We're all almost 40 or 40. Like me and Andrew, I bet you're 40 now. Like we're all just like at that time where it's just like, we got to fucking make money. Like we're not at that age anymore. We can just be like idealistic and like whatever. It's just we just gave up. Well, not gave up, but it's like we gave into the fact that we got to pursue a certain career, and most humans have to do that, right? You know, and but the thing is, we still have that passion and love for art, in particular music, and that's why we're here today, is talking about music and that art. It's not about us as people, or like, oh, that's cool, we're just relating to each other because that's what we're here doing. But like, we care about music and art and metal and all this. We still care about it. We're still making albums. We're still or doing or just talking about it, even if it doesn't matter what capacity you're doing it. But I think it's the reason I'm so excited talking about this tonight is I haven't talked about music or theory or any of this in like not much. Like all I do is try to learn like how to fucking hold on to my ass like at work, like all the
time. You're trying to learn a trade that's not your passion, but it pays money. So
I just want to add something real quick to what you were saying, Casey, and and everything that what you said is awesome. Talking about art and music is definitely what I want to do. I also just want to point out what you just made me realize, that I'm talking about all these people that in our early 20s, we were in this little bubble down in Santa Cruz, and there was this drive to do something. Andrew's talking about
unspoken drive. It was like unspoken.
Do something. I'm seeing everybody else doing something. I need to do something, you know? And it translates into what you just said about our careers too, because although we still have passion and love for all this art and music that we've all shared together and contributed to, but there's also that drive that spilled over into the next chapter of our lives where we still had something to work towards, and whether we're still working towards it or we've already hit it. Like it shows that we all chose a path and we're actually, in a pretty damn good position. And I just want to applaud our little bubble for giving ourselves, even though we didn't realize that was happening at the time, but just seeing everybody, living and growing together in those little bubbles naturally adds to you as a person. And here we are today, talking about 4 decades being on the planet now, when it was 2 decades back when I was starting to hang out with you guys,
I mean, it's like, it's the same thing as like the dad band thing, like it's like, all right, like I've gotten have you seen the dad band YouTube skit thing with like Jerry Cantrell and shit? Have you seen that, Andrew?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's good, dude. Like, no one's gonna fuck you to listen to Rush. No girl's gonna fuck you when you listen to Rush. Oh, dude, it's like the funniest shit. And it's like these like actors, but it's like a dad band, like garage band thing and stuff. But Jerry Cantrell's in it. It's fucking great. But yeah, anyways, the point is that like that's like why people do that. Like, like, oh, hey man, I used to play. You guys want to do a band? Like I used to jam when I was a teenager and this and that. And we're just like at our own level of that. Like, oh yeah, well, we used to do a little more than that. Like, we used to fucking tour and like do this and we cared. We were like super into it and we fucking, sacrificed a lot of our lives and careers like to do that for many years. And I'd be making a lot more money now if I hadn't spent so much time trying to make a living with music. But it's like, I don't give a fuck. Like I don't regret a second of it. And I love it all. And like totally happy trying to be an adult now and like have a real job. And like, we don't make any money doing anything. Like I don't make any money doing anything creative at all. $0 except for teaching music lessons.
It's literally like
basically is to
zero
studio.
It's $0 or millions of dollars.
Like exactly.
That's the disparity between
why.
Yeah,
that's
it's
true.
like those 0.001% that makes
at the millions of dollars.
They make the millions.
Level you're sacrificing though. We're talking about we're staying pure to ourselves the whole time we've all been making music, whether it be together elsewhere. We've all been true to just loving the art first. It's not about the currency. Casey's talking about all the trials and tribulations, but really it's the memories that we've all taken from it all. That's the real currency.
Oh yeah,
I think it's about the journey. And I was talking to someone the other day. I was like thinking about joining this club, for lack of a better word, and the dude's like, "How old are you?" And I was like, "I'm 40." And he's like, "Oh, well, we have dudes who like are your age and they're just like you. They're professional. They have their own business and they live in mansions and all this stuff and have kids and have this whole like experience like full life. They're in this like next adult world that that's probably a bad way of explaining it, but he was talking to me like I was kind of like more as though I'd been a lawyer since I like left college or something, and I had like achieved that level and stuff, and I'm just like sort of starting out. And it was sort of bumming me out in a weird, ironic way. It kind of knocked me down a peg and had me thinking about like, man, should I have like, tried harder or done more and whatever. And I was just thinking like, no, you know what? Yeah, it's all about just like, fuck that kind of thinking. It's taking a path and finding your own way. And as long as you keep moving forward, like, so what if like, I'm not on the stage, like making $1 million playing guitar. Like I went out and tried and I played guitar and I had some really cool experiences. I made really great friends and I didn't go to fucking UCLA. I went to UC Santa Cruz and thank God I did because I met you guys there. And, now I'm like starting out and, if life wants me to like, get to that next spot where I'm, popping out babies at 45 years old and buying a big house or something, like that's fine. But if otherwise, like I'm very stoked to like be learning what I'm learning now. Like I'm my mind is still stimulated. I'm still interested in life. I definitely am not like depressed about what I'm doing. And you know, I'm still great friends with people I've known for 20 years. I'm also friends with other people who aren't here on the podcast at this moment that I've known since I was like 5 years old. And so it's just a, you know, like being like true to yourself is important, but it's also kind of like, I don't even know what that is. I'm just like stoked to like be moving like a shark and just like seeing what other fish is like around this like nice new pile of coral that I've come across. And
exactly,
it might not be the biggest fish in the world, but I bet it'll be tasty and I'll be stoked to get it.
Well, with what Joel was mentioning earlier, with the if everything was a W, we would get bored, right? So it's like the carrot. It's actually, life is better when the carrot's right in front of you, but you never really get to it. You know, you never actually get the carrot. It actually is better that way, because we're talking about the journey.
Yeah.
If I ever top out to what I'm actually, if I can conceive of me as the pinnacle Anthony Trapani, and I reach that, what is after that?
Yeah.
Right.
There's a book about that.
Striving to get to
what's
that.
What's the book?
What's the book?
It's by David I haven't read it. I just read about it. He's a writer for the New York Times, but reading about it made me think about, maybe I think what you guys were all sort of talking about. It's called like The Second Mountain or something. And it's about how, okay, so you've got the nice house, you got the nice family, you got the nice job.
Yeah.
Now what? Like you're never like, there isn't like a point where you're like, I've had enough.
That's
like,
I've been preaching that my whole life. It's like I could, you know, like when I moved into this house, like I'm in an expensive $2 million house with my friend, but I remember like being just as happy in a fucking an apartment. Like it was really just me like having perspective of like, I have like an ocean view when I'm driving up and stuff, and I'm just like, after a while I'm just like, yeah, whatever. You know, it's like after in the very beginning it was like, what the fuck is this? It was like mind blowing that I was living here. I was like, I have a fucking trail to the fucking whatever, and like, but after a while I'm just like, fucking get out of my fucking way, dude. Like I'm just like driving. I'm just driving. I'm like not. I'm just you get like very complacent. It's the same as if you were to use. I mean, I'll use alcohol as an example. It's the same as, oh, one used to get me drunk, but now I need 7. Like it's like it's not. It's just gonna keep going until like there's never an end, until there's like a kind of a homeostasis. I don't know if that's the word, but you need to find like a middle ground.
It's the balance, man.
Yeah, balance.
We naturally want to find a homeostasis, but it's like as soon as we're in that homeostasis, we want to find a new homeostasis.
When things become the same a lot with people, with everyone that's alive today, they become kind of more like, you know, like Anthony, you're the only one that has kids here, so probably kids can give you a dynamic that's changing your environment constantly. So you're going to your house every day is not the same. You have maybe, you know, a kid, one of your kids like puts his pants down and pisses on the ground. Which they all did, and Anthony's a liar. But at the same time, though, at the same time,
and with multiple kids, it's multiple.
But no, that's a variable. That's a variable. That's a variable
where they're against me that night.
No, it's a variable though. That's a variable. It's like a cop. A lot of cops are like, I like the job because I'm not just gonna give a ticket every day. Like it's not just gonna be like a going like ticket. It's like, oh shit, what's going on this time? You know, it's like they want something that changes their environment constantly.
I just want to be the rad dad every situation. I want to be the rad dad. That's what I'm trying to be.
Dude, you're the green dad.
Most situations where I'm the rad dad, dude.
No. See, you have something, but you have variables every day that kind of change up your environment. So it's not just like driving up. If you were driving up looking at like a fucking waterfall in Hawaii on day number 797, you might not look at it. You might just be like, oh, this fucking bump right here. Whatever.
I won't. It won't have the same impact it did on day 3.
That's just how humans are, though. With routine comes or if we get familiar with things, like with guitar playing, with drumming, with anything. It's like, oh shit, I couldn't play this yesterday, but I've been trying a bunch, so now my hand is doing it now, and I don't know why. It's through like routine and trying to like convince your body to do it, and then your body will just do it. Like after a while, I'm just like, oh shit. But Casey, go ahead. I know you wanted to say something a while ago.
Oh, I don't even know what I was going to say.
He's going to say Seneca's the sickest.
I think, yeah. Shout out, dude.
Oh yeah.
Now they're going to Japan.
I'm going to say that.
But yeah, dude. I think that it really comes down to like, okay. What I was going to say, I think, was basically at the end. So when it's all done, like the end of your trip, right? You got home. How was your trip? That's like end of our life. So it's like you got home, got back from the end of the trip, or you're dying, like whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. It's just like you're at a certain age and you look at your whole life and you go like, okay, what did I do and all this? And it's like, yeah, okay, at the end I did this career and I did all this kind of stuff. But when I was 20, I fucking played in a band and I traveled and I did this. And are you gonna like regret that? Like when you're an old man, like, are you gonna be like, fuck, man, I don't regret a day in my life. Like, sure, it's been tricky, like figuring out a career post-COVID and losing business and bullshit, whatever, who cares? The point is like, it's not easy to work in a career. And I wish I've been doing this like longer, and I wish I was higher up when I'm 40 years old. I wish I was making more money. I wish I was here where I spent time touring and doing music or whatever. It doesn't, like, it's like in the end, am I going to care about that when I'm 70, like, or whatever, 80 or whatever? Like, it's like, and at the end, it's all perspective. Like I live in a condo now with my friend. I mean, I got this nice piano behind me. Like I got Aspen out there. No, I was kidding. But the point is like, I live in a comfortable place. Like I make enough to where like, no matter where I'm going to be comfortable. Like I'm working in computers and shit like that. It's like, dude, it's like everything's cool, like, and I like totally don't regret anything that I did and made. All the money I didn't make, I don't regret any of that. Like, dude, that's like so dumb. And how like shallow and stupid is that to even, it's like, who gives a fuck, dude? You should be like, and dude, Andrew, like hearing you like becoming a lawyer and passing the bar and all that is just like, you're fucking, that's badass, man.
Every single one of us on this 4 square panel right now, all of our nurses, our hospice nurses, are gonna love hearing our stories because we're not going to talk about work and boring shit. Dude.
Hell yeah!
Talk about
what did you do? Crazy. I got it. That's all I did when I was 20. I became a lawyer, and
dude, my grandma, like that, but she's like in a like a one of those like intensive care places, and there's just groups of old people around her. She's just all like, and she goes like, oh. There'll be a nurse that comes in and she was like, "Are you single?" My grandma. And I'll be like, no. She's all like, at the time, maybe the time I was single, like, he's single. You want to go out with him? What's going on? Yeah. My grandma's like got like everyone just like fucking engaged and just like shooting her shot and jokes and stuff. And I'm like,
you go for it. Let her go for it, dude.
I mean, you just get so much more simple. I mean, your brain gets simpler. It's just there's different things that make you happy. It's just not even, you look at them as a person, as a fully functioning human going like, oh man, I'm scared of that. But at the time they're having fun. They're having like a great time. They're like, get to hang out with all their friends and stuff. But
I don't want to make it a bummer, dude, but you just made me think of something I got to mention. I got
your hat.
God. Yeah, my hat sucks, dude. It's not Aloha. Aloha.
Do you have to pull that hat off while you take a piss?
No, I was just gonna say that I have a family member who is losing their brain, dude. And
that's fucking tough.
Sure. Like we're dealing with a 80-year-old toddler.
Yeah. It goes toddler to adult to back to toddler.
It is very strange how you divert back into what you were in the beginning for people who do that, and that happens. Like I also have had people in the family that went to 90 and still had their wit the whole time. Yeah. So it's However, it's going to happen. But I'm just saying that sucks.
They drink and smoke the whole time, and they just live the longest.
That's
and they're
exactly
like,
how
and
he
you're
was,
like,
dude.
and that's exactly what I was going like, dude. I
What was
don't
that?
Puffing on cigars.
What was the old guy? Is it George
before,
Burns?
dude.
The old
Yeah,
guy?
George Burns.
George
Yeah,
Like
it's like
101,
people
I
just like
think, when he died.
He's
it's
like,
like fucking Keith Richards, like all these
Yeah.
people that just like fucking ruined their bodies. They're like, no, we're forever, dude. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And you're like, what the fuck? But actually,
yeah, I mean,
go
I'm
ahead.
just
Do you want to
saying,
finish your
it's going to happen, however, but just keep your fucking wit as long as you can, guys.
For me, the number one thing. This it's only 20 seconds long, but this part in that movie Blow, where with like Ray Liotta and Johnny Depp and stuff. But this
with
scene right here,
Donnie Brasco. Donnie Brasco.
Okay. But this scene,
he's the dad of Depp before, right?
I don't. The history, brother.
No, it's from Blow. Sorry, it's from Blow.
It's from Blow. But this scene right here, like when I first saw this, like 15 years ago, I don't know, kind of recently. More recently, it was like, oh, I got to tour in all the bands and do all the cool stuff. I was like, it actually hit me because I was like, oh shit, human brains are not made for, like, once you want to achieve things too hard, once you achieve them, like what's next? Like what Andrew was saying, it's like your brain goes to a part where it's like, oh cool, I got it. All right, and that's why people become, like oil billionaires and want to like have like extra gold Lamborghinis and stuff. It's because they there's nothing more. It's like
we really love strive. We love the strive to get the thing, but
it's like even after you've gotten all the things though, but after you've gotten all the things, then what's after all the things though?
Well, that's why it's a not that I'm a guru, but it's definitely requires some sort of spiritual exercise.
Yeah,
to calm
I think
that
spirituality
down.
is going to be pretty important later on. And unfortunately, I've been making fun of it my whole life, but I feel like it might be a thing to give me some
putting down your pants and pissing all over spirituality. As long as I've known you.
Those are my new shoes, the spirituality Nikes. Anyways,
what you gotta do is fucking.
Do you think Buddha fucking pulled his pants down to his knees, dude, when he peed?
They meditated like fuck, but I have ADD as shit, and I can't. My whole life was going to Buddhist retreats and stuff, and I had to like run around as a kid because my mom brought me to that, and I was like, it looks cool. You guys are all really nice, but like I cannot sit in the lotus position for fucking 3 hours. Like, shoot me. I'd rather get. Sorry, not aggressively. I hate yoga so much. Like my fiance was
you
like,
are a Buddhist, dude. You just caught yourself, dude.
No, my fiance is like, she used to be a personal trainer and stuff, and at the end of the workout, we're like, let's go. She's all, let's go stretch, and I was stretching. And I was like, fuck you, fuck. I was like screaming. I hate sitting down and stretching so much. I'm like,
by the way, a champion soccer player.
I was like, this is like the worst part. I was like telling her, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life right now. I was like getting like mad at her. But anyways, the quick quote. It's like only 2 seconds. Jesus.
It'll work out. It always does. I'm gonna find another job. Look, George, this is the way it goes.
Oh shit.
Sometimes you're flush and sometimes you're bust. And when you're up, it's never as good as it seems. And when you're down, you never think you're gonna be up again. But life goes on. Remember that. Money isn't real, George.
Okay, that goes in the money part. But when you're up, you think that like, or when you want to be up, you're like, I want to be up, and then you get up, you're like, fuck, like, what do I do with this upness? It's like, how do I take? I want to be more upper, uppery than the up.
Strive to get to the up is actually what everybody's really chasing, dude.
Yeah, and you get there, and they're like, you're like, it sucks.
The money doesn't matter, which is true, because then you get to the point where it's just power, dude. You use the money.
That's where I think it goes to. I think a lot of people get like, they're just money. They get to the place and they're like, oh, now power. Like goes to the next level of power, control power, or like, I want to be in charge of things because now I have the money. Doesn't matter anymore. Now I need the
natural born sociopaths, which you just sort of like are gonna have no matter where you are.
Yeah,
money or fucking spears, and that's why it's important to live in a society where you can be able to take care of yourself in a lot of ways, not in terms of like learning Krav Maga or hiring an army, but like it is kind of not to get into economics or anything, but I think that's why communism fails, because we are a species where there are people who are just born a particular way, no matter who you are, no matter what system, no matter what nation or island you're from, who are just like, I'm gonna be the dude at the top. And and at least in this world that we live in here for now, the rest, the major medium chunk of us can still like have something, have a taste, and not have to like let those at the top who are just naturally sociopathic enough to cut throats all the way there to take all that there is.
Yeah.
And
it is. I mean,
don't get mad at the cash register because it's up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It seems that ego is just something that I want to keep talking about tonight, because that's before that was
pissing with your pants down.
Ego was power the same way.
Yeah, and talking about like ego, why do you love Sleep Token so much, Joel? I want to talk about that before we fucking leave tonight.
I knew that was gonna come. I was waiting for that one. Really? I still haven't even heard this band.
Please continue.
Oh no, Ian, could you in the chat back me up why you like Sleep? It's a band that's done something completely different. It's actually broken barriers, and I think the singer is absolutely amazing, and he writes the music, and it's the lyrics are dealt. It's fucking gnarly shit that I've dealt with in my life, and it hits me right in the tits, and and they do. That's where Anthony was kind of making fun of me earlier. They've combined, funk, R&B, hip hop, metal, all these things together seamlessly, and I've never seen a band do that. I've never seen that happen. Like, I've seen like Bungle and other bands go, well, we're gonna be a little quirky here, but not like as a song where it's like a journey up and down, and it brings you back. Yeah, it's like, he's a way better Maynard is what the singer is, but yeah, he's just got like, I don't know, I'm like, fucking Ian put the drummer's name in the chat, which we have the internet now, so they're trying to be anonymous, but people like have put all the clues together and figured out who they all are and stuff, and I'm just like, well, they're trying. They don't like.
Is it Elon Musk?
No, Elon's. Yeah, I don't want to get into Elon right now, but I'm down now. But but yeah, no, Elon, Sleep Token. I've been drinking tonight, so fuck you with this question at the end of the podcast. But no,
I think it's a good question, because I tried to bring it up with some of my other music friends, and they just like don't get it, and they pick it apart.
Too old, yeah.
They're your age
or older.
I think it's interesting. I can't, and I've tried to listen to it, especially since you told me that you're into them.
Says they compose. The way they compose into like nothing else. No, it's not trying to be a Me Too band. I don't know. Me Too. Don't throw Me Too in there. Jesus Christ. It's a hashtag. It's just original. It's a first original band I've heard in a long time. I think everyone's trying to be the gnarlier version of the style that's been around forever. And I feel like they've come out with a version of the style and a genre it's unfortunate that they're becoming so popular right now, because I'm just like, fuck, you guys are crushing. And then like now you go to their shows now and everyone's singing along, and I'm like, god damn it, like this has turned into a big thing. And but that's the internet. If it wasn't for, if this was like fucking 2003 or 4, we'd have to buy the CDs, find out about them, build the fucking fan base. But it won't just be like famous overnight. Like they became famous overnight. They became like, they dropped a song and it just like went viral. Like Slipknot, all the Slipknot guys were like, this is the craziest music we've ever heard. And then they took them on tour right away, and I'm like, fuck, like,
okay, well, let me rephrase my question.
Okay.
Because I'm definitely not trying to bust your balls here or being like, you're wrong. Because
no, it's funny. No.
But did you like when you first heard it? Were you like, what the fuck is this? Or were you like, Is it more of like an intellectual like?
So at first I didn't like them. I didn't like them at first. I didn't like them at all. And it was this song called "The Summoning," which is their biggest song. But I was listening to it. I'm like, yeah, it's the guy's got a good voice. Whatever, drums are good, or actually really good. Everything's like solid band. And then they went to a funk part at the end of it, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? And it kind of gives you that vibe where you're like, they bring you through like a bunch of soundscapes, and they're using all the technologies and all the things to make electronic music and stuff, and they bring you through like a portal, and then it's the fucking same song but in a funk version at the very end, and that's how they end it. And they end it on like a beat that you're not supposed to end on and stuff, and I was like, it just gives you like tension. And I was like, "Oh fuck!"
Would you say similar things about Igor?
Not similar. That's a completely different, like, creative thing that's completely different. But that's still breaking boundaries.
Different. I mean,
no. I mean, for the vibe,
it's described as something similar to what I feel with Igor.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's similar, but it's like a completely different vibe.
I mean,
but
it's not about
the intentions are similar.
The
intentions are similar.
When you hear it, I'm not saying what you hear is similar, but leaving you on the tension factor, taking you through these, portals that you were just talking about.
I like Igor for completely different reasons than Sleep Token.
Okay,
like they're like 100% different. I like Igor for their absolute insane creativity, and that I don't know how the fuck that motherfucker. It's like that would be like when people you go to a one of those art museums where it's like people spray on walls and shit and do shit and they buy them for $1 million. I think Igor sprayed the best.
Yeah, but okay, so
I don't think it's. I think it's completely fucking. It's completely trippy. It's completely trippy. It's a different vibe. It's not. It's
Andrew,
not.
Have you heard who we were talking about?
Igor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've listened to a few jams, and I was like, especially the way Joel described it, I was like, this sounds fucking horrendous. But then when I listened to it, I was like, okay, yeah. There's something going on here.
Like, what the fuck? Why are you going to that?
Especially their last two albums. I mean, all their stuff's great to me, but something.
It's one of the best performances I've ever seen in my life. And same with Sleep Token. Same, 100%. Like just controlling the audience, being like, I don't know. I mean, we all know his name if you Google it because Google's an asshole. But they're trying to be like, no, let the music speak for itself. We don't want to be named, kind of thing, And you can't do that nowadays, unfortunately.
Like, do you think? Because I know that they got like blew up like exponentially when they hit America earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's all Tool fans?
I think there's partially. I think it's partial.
Because the people talk about the stuff I read online is like, no, this is like striking a chord with mainstream audiences and stuff. And I was like, I don't think Taylor Swift fans are listening to it.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like it does something totally, like I see it as more of like a because I find it interesting, and then I'm not going to talk shit on them at all. But it doesn't tickle my funny bone the same way it does.
You showed me the fucking Hey Ya cover of fucking Hey.
That was me talking shit. Even though I do like that song. But I also really like that other band that's like a post-hardcore band or whatever that apparently is big. They did a cover of that Imagine Dragons song. You know what I'm talking about?
Turnstile? I'll just guess.
Not Turnstile, but it's like whoa,
I know
radioactive.
No, I know that. I know the Imagine Dragons.
But they did a cover of that band. I guess they got big doing that song.
So it's another one of those bands that blows up by covering another band and then like tries to put their own song out for the first time and everyone's like, this sucks, and they move on.
I guess I even though there's tons of like poppy music that I'm just like, this isn't for me, but like I get why it's huge. Like I can feel that tickle. You don't
get why Sleep Token's huge?
I don't get why they're as huge as they are. I don't like,
really,
unless they're just all Tool fans. And
I mean that's talking shit. But
what tickles you?
Because I'm not
right
a huge
now,
Tool fan.
Andrew, what tickles you at this moment?
Shit that probably most people would think sex.
Yeah. So
Spirit,
we're in the same boat.
Okay.
This is everybody
You got
thinks
me.
this is a death metal podcast, but most of us probably haven't even listened to death metal in the last week.
Yeah, I like stuff
Did you
like
say Joel? Joel, do you listen to death metal in the last week?
No, I mean I posted my top 5 last bands, and there's all prog
that's
bands.
the year. I'm talking about
No,
your last week.
Last week? No,
Yeah.
I know. I went through a death metal drive. I did Deicide. I did Spawn
I
of
actually
Possession.
listened to Defeated Sanity. Sorry.
Yeah. Spawn of Possession
remember.
Cabinet's the best death metal album of all time. For me, I just can't. I listen to it every time,
It's
and
so
I go like
fucking
I
good,
like
dude.
mouth all the shit, and I'm doing everything, and I'm like, I mean, for me, it's the most. It's just for me. Whatever you guys like, it's all good. For me, Cabinet's it's my pinnacle of everything coming together as the best death metal album I've ever heard. Like I just can't fuck with it. I'm just like I get so excited. I'm like I'll be like after doing like what Casey does IT work, like my brain's fried, and I'll just be like I'll put on some insane technical death metal, and Spawn of Possession just gets me just shaking. I'm like so excited, but it comes from more nostalgia too, probably because when I first got that album, it was in my car for 8 months. Every time I drove anywhere, it was in my car. So like it brings back a certain time in my life. It brings back, but like I still think it's to me my favorite music.
I mean,
for death
from front to back, it's hard to argue it, dude.
You guys just had the dude from Psychroptic on, and they still have one of my favorite fucking death metal songs ever.
That's another hard one to argue.
Psychroptic, Chucky.
Yeah, it's just so fucking hot.
Scepters.
But what song is this one? This song you're talking about, Andrew?
This is like back in the day when Spawn, Psychroptic, like that. We were all listening to that stuff back then.
It's
your background music controller.
Yeah, it's I just couldn't remember which one. Cruelty Incarnate. That song, that riff is so hot, dude.
Your background music filter, Casey, is on, so you can't hear it.
Gotcha.
It's all done. It's all
Hey, good. I was.
Oh God! Does Andrew know about Pavor?
Andrew, do you know who this is?
That's David, obviously.
Oh yes. Okay.
Shout out David.
Making sure.
And yes, dude. Joel does like Pavor.
Oh, did you see that?
The best Pavor is that guy fucking on the back being like, "I'm the vocalist." So
no, he's from Bethlehem. He's the singer of Bethlehem that was like shooting heroin on their albums. That's why Pavor's so good.
Furioso over Cabinet. I'll take Furioso, dude. What up?
What the fuck?
What? Dude?
Anyways,
the mix. I just said the mix.
What? Sounds great.
Playing or the music.
Anyways, shout out to Defeated Sanity for signing to Season of Mist.
What were they on before?
I don't know, but fuck yeah,
Willow Tip for hella years.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, man. Fuck yeah. Well, right on.
They signed a little bit after us. Chapters was the first album on Willow Tip, I think. Chapters of Repugnance.
I'm trying to find the Dan Kenny cameo that I made him, because Dan Kenny hates or doesn't hate. We don't hate Pavor. We just thought like it was overblown a little bit, and so I made Dan. He's on Cameo.
You love Pavor.
So I made him I made him make a video about how much he loves Pavor. And I sent it to Josh. Oh, I didn't post it.
It's just funny that both you bass players talk shit about Pavor, which is a bass.
Sweet picking guitar on bass. Yeah.
Jealous much?
Are you putting something on, Joel, or what's going on?
No. Don't look at me. I'm trying to find the video.
Don't look at me, dude. You're on a virtual thing with me.
I thought I posted it.
Dude. I have a camera on. Don't look at me.
I can't see you guys. Yeah.
Why?
Anyway,
you
I didn't mean to I didn't mean to take over the conversation with searching.
So Anthony, how's your week been, man? How's it going?
It's been all right. Dude.
Yeah.
You ready for Friday?
Yeah. Well, it sucks coming back to a full week after having some time off.
Oh yeah, it totally sucks.
Had a 4-day weekend, so it's long
And these weeks are always shitty, like in the holidays, like the off non-holiday, because everyone's making up for the other days and everyone's been traveling. And then
it was like, why is Andrew
always,
now? You guys, I couldn't see like what was going on.
Again. No, but Thursdays are always cool because I get to party with you dudes, and then I wake up. I gotta do one more day of work, and then I get to go hang with the fam. So I'm in a good position right now, even though this week has definitely been longer than I've wanted it to feel. But dude, I'm a working.
You want me to play the things you guys missed because when I posted in our chat, you guys overlooked it about the podcast?
I don't look at the private chat at all. Actually,
it's not private. No, I was posting with it was like a recap of the year. It's like,
yeah, you talked about it earlier. You should put it on if you want.
Yeah, it's like I didn't see that. It's so basically the Gorguts. They said the Gorguts ones, like they're like, that's the 700% more than any other thing you've ever done.
Luke LeMay.
Yeah, 700% more engagement than any other
episode. Oh, cool, nice.
Yeah.
Andrew's back. You tried to get great conversation to play at the Thunderdome. And I was like, dude, I don't think we can afford to fly them in from Bethlehem. And you kept insisting on it. And then we were like, all right, well, let's get a new roommate and use that money to get Pavor in. But
and by the way, I'm just gonna correct Joel. Rainier was never shooting heroin in that picture, by the way.
What?
Everybody else was actually shooting.
He's taking his diabetes medicine.
Rainier Landferman, who I'll always back as somebody that I love. That dude, he's just the bass player in Pavor. Bethlehem is what you're talking about, though, right? And
that's actually we had the Travis Ryan episode, and I remember he was like, "Dude, I heard the Bethlehem vocals," and I was like, "What the fuck is going?" Or I think it was a singer that was like a prolific singer, and I was like, "Yeah, it sounded like he was getting murdered like on live CD."
He is one of the most unique vocalists I've ever come across in metal in how many years we've been in this shit, dude.
Yeah,
and always
Chalky too.
And then when you find out, you're like, well, I came across him with Pavor because Casey, we were at Streetlight, and Casey was like, dude, buy this right now. And it was just the Pavor logo on the cover and Furioso at the bottom. And
I don't hate Pavor at all. You guys, I didn't like it very much. And I got the Josh like, why don't you like this? What's going on? And I just turned against it, and I kept it going.
I know we were.
Come on, Joel.
You guys still buy into it.
It's got a little further than that.
I remember why you.
No, we do it. Like me and Dan Kenny have been doing this for 20 years. When the joke's up,
Joel's backpedaling, dude. It's clear.
Yeah, see, we got you that good. That's how good we got you.
It took you 20 minutes to admit you like Pavor, when it took Josh only 2 minutes to admit he liked Spawn Possession.
It's one of those like, let's see the replay, right? You know?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I didn't. I actually thought
the replay. Dude.
Go back. You guys got so pissed. You guys got so pissed that I was
didn't even care. I wasn't pissed.
No, you weren't. I'm not saying you weren't a part of it, but it was like, who was it mainly? David.
You and David.
I think it was David.
Oh,
David's in the chat
fighting words, dude.
He's like,
you just
take your shirts off,
David.
Yeah, David knew about it.
You just called out.
I'm probably the one that took it to the most serious.
God. So yeah. Anyways, gotcha. I don't really care.
Later, we finally got the gotcha, dude.
They were like death metal, like Deep Purple, like that song Fireball, where it's like super catchy and it's just rocking, and all of a sudden it goes into the jazz bass solo. It's like. And it was like, why is this fucking shitty fucking jazz bass solo in the middle of this song? I think that's
like
why
the song was super sick, and then like the bassist is all like, dude, no, my time. he's like, I'm Hendrix in this band, fuck you guys, and just starts like sweeping on the bass. You're like, all right,
Joel's only half.
The song was cool. I mean, the songs were sick going up to the bass part. I was like, people were like, dude, it's so sick. I'm like, doesn't make any sense in the song. He just was like, fuck you guys, I'm doing my solo right here, whether you like it or not. And I don't know, I felt like the forcedness of it made me just uncomfortable, and I was like, I don't like this.
I kind of understand what you're saying. I
Yeah,
understand what you're saying. But I'm more so of the person that's just like, dude, show me everything, dude. What do you got, dude? Oh, you want to throw it right there? Yeah, give me that jazz solo, dude.
I just felt, it's uncomfortable for me. I didn't really like it, but I like the music. I like the metal or the death metal parts going into it.
If you
then went to like
Bethlehem,
solo.
I think you would actually enjoy.
No, I like Bethlehem. I like Bethlehem.
Joel is Joel as a bass player is like a battered woman who's like, no, I deserved it. I didn't stay in my place. He resented the fact that bass player got to do what he wanted in the band when he was like, no, bass players just do what the guitar player tells them to do.
It sucks being a bass player nowadays. That's not a bass player forever. Whatever, David. You got me.
Dude,
it was a fun little thing to argue about.
Thunderdome, it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. We still talk about it 20 years later. We're still talking about it. So it was definitely funny enough to keep poking at.
I couldn't go on without at least a 20-minute debate about Pavor. Like as soon as the wild turkey was open, it's like, all right.
They would just bring it up right away because like Josh and David would be like, dude, fucking fuck you, dude. Pavor is sick, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, they're the worst band I've ever heard my fucking. I would just say the worst things just to like get them all riled up.
It's like when you watch Jeopardy and Alex Trebek has to be like, oh, so what's your favorite hobby? And you're like, this fucking sucks. And we get to the questions, but they have to do it. It's like we had to talk about Pavor for 20 minutes before we could like get to the interesting fucking part of the night.
No, this is the truth. Exactly. Dude. I love. I feel blessed to have dudes that I can have debates that prolong. Go past 2 decades where we're still just having a fun debate about some stupid shit. And yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people that would kill for that, dude. So
you just called Pavor stupid shit, dude. Okay,
no, I'm just saying the debate being stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad that I have that with a handful of guys, dude, and this is just cool, dude. I'm glad that I have that. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Not everybody can say that, dude. And even if it's something, we were arguing over fast food French fries, if it's something that stuck for a couple decades, the fact that Andrew dropped such a Cuddy reference that even though we've talked about it a few times on the show, that's literally goes back to the Thunderdome. And I love that, dude.
God damn it. There's so many things I want to bring up with you. Oh, actually, okay. This is one I was thinking about. You were the first YouTube search. Me and you were sitting in front of the computer and YouTube had just come out. It was like a new thing. And I was sitting behind Andrew in his room. He's all, I don't know what to search for. He's all farts. It's the first search I ever saw on YouTube was farts. And then it was the fart matrix. Remember the fart matrix video? Which is still up there, by the way, and it's still funny, dude. Like it's like a matrix fight scene. They're like farting every time they punch each other or something. But I remember him I was like trying to think of something like a good thing to search. I was like, I don't know what to search, and he's all farts.
The way you said it. I mean, what a better introduction to a worldwide
like a 20 years later thing.
Well, I got 2 that come to mind. The one where Dan Kenny, we all went down, and I think it's the first time Dan and Anthony came and visited us at the Thunderdome. And we took you guys down to the Saturn Cafe, which is all vegan. And Dan was like, I want a cheeseburger. And they're like, we don't have cheeseburger. We have Boca burgers. And he's like, Bocha? What the fuck is Bocha? And he was like following the fucking waitress around the restaurant.
That wasn't Saturn. It wasn't Saturn. It was the next morning. It was at Dharma's.
Yeah.
He was all like, I'm in carnivorous.
I'm called carnivorous.
Yeah, the cheeseburgers. He showed up at a vegan restaurant wearing a shirt that said carnivorous on it. Which, by the way, not a chicken burrito from there is fucking bomb.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Their French fries are like the best French fries in the world.
I would love to see, because like you see kids nowadays like walking around like thinking they're like, oh, we're funny and stuff. Like I wonder if I were to see like from like a corner view of us walking in thinking like, I'm from Cyrus. I don't. If we just be like, shut up, you fucking kids, get the fuck out. Our age now, it's kind of like I see kids like nowadays like trying to be like funny or like do stuff, and I'm like, get out of here, you little shits. Like I get like a so grumpy old man now. I'm just like, you're not even funny, dude. Get out of here. If you're funny, like they're like trying to be like super sporadic and be like, ooh, we're we're humor.
But we were like, those guys. It's so funny though.
I know. It's like, no, we can only do that, and you guys can never do that. It kind of feels like that a little bit.
We just realized that there was adults that watched us do that, and they were saying the same thing you said. Fucking dorks. Or
yeah. No, I know. I mean, I watch people. I watch
chicken burrito, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
I watch kids just walking around in groups, and I'm just like, they're like trying to be all like, and I'm like, dude, like we were that, like thinking, and my memories when I look back at all of us is that we're like adults, but like back in the day or something.
Because we were young, we had a license to be an asshole.
Yeah. We just didn't care, and we're just like, whatever, dude. Fuck everything. It's all whatever. You know what I mean?
Stupid.
Everyone's all dumb. The government's all dumb, dude. Fucking burn it down. It's like
it's fucking like meat shit shirts, dude. I want my eggplant tofu, dude, right now.
The other funny thing was when fucking Joel broke Josh's bong at the time.
Shit.
Twice.
No, you
on the thing that we brought up with
no. I ate Andrew's sandwich.
Yes, that's right. Okay, I came to the Thunderdome,
and then he pushed me over a bong.
When I saw Joel eating my sandwich that I bought earlier and prepared to eat later, and he's just there eating it. And when I saw him eating it, it was like seeing fucking
you saw red
Forrest Gump and seeing fucking some dude slap Jenny, and I just fucking Forrest Gumped him over the fucking table, and the bong broke.
Another one, like the third bong, I think, in that run.
Third one,
in like 1 year, like three of Josh's
stories to add to that.
Yeah, it's like the Dan Kenny one with the head going through the fan and stuff, and he broke a bong there, and then he was
a year later,
and then
he hit
next
the
year
bong
he was like,
broke the stem.
No, he broke it. Literally, they were handing it to him, and the bong just split.
Yeah, that's right.
It wasn't his fault at all. It wasn't his fault at all.
You couldn't write it, dude. If you're writing a screenplay, that
it was like a handoff, and the bong just split.
Like never happens.
And he's like, you don't even smoke weed. Fuck weed. He's got so.
But Josh was in his bedroom getting it on with his lady, and he heard the break. And it wasn't a beer bottle. It wasn't a wild turkey bottle. It wasn't a plate. He knew it was his bong. And he came out with his fucking dingus flapping, like, what'd you do to my bong? And I was like, it was Joel. And then David was all pissed the next day.
Yeah,
he was like, Joel, how you just let little Andrew knock you over? And I was like, he was eating my sandwich, dude. I had the fury of the Hulk. I was mad. Like, and I don't care how.
The funny thing about that situation too, it's almost the same as the Dan Kenny one. Is like it fell and it landed in place and it was fine. And then I picked it up and it just shattered into like a million pieces. I remember just like grabbing it, like it's fine, dude. It was like wedged in the couch in like the ground. And I was like, oh, thank God. And I picked it up and it just shattered, because it just like smacked and like held in place somehow. I remember grabbing, like, no, it's good. Oh shit, I have like $100 to my name. This is like a $400 bong, and like I have to pay rent next month and all this. I was like, I don't know what to do. It's Andrew's fault.
So did not eat another man's sandwich.
I mean, I thought it was actually. I still remember doing that. I still remember getting your sandwich, and it's like one of those lessons you learn as like a kid.
Yeah,
it's like it's gonna be funny, and then like you see your friend get mad at you, or like, oh, whatever, dude, it's not that big of a deal. Trying to make it like no big deal, and then you just launched me over the table.
What you're still chewing on a Quiznos sub, dude?
No, it was a fucking dude. It was a gas station sandwich. Yeah, it was a gas station sandwich.
That's my favorite 7-Eleven sandwich.
But he's planning to eat it, so he's all hangry.
By the way, dude,
I
was our spot for a while.
Yeah, I thought I was being funny by doing it. I thought like at the time, I thought I was being like weird and funny by eating your sandwich and shit. And seeing your reaction was just like, oh fuck, like that's not funny. This is actually a man's sandwich. I don't know. Like I thought it was like I was being like, oh dude, I got your sandwich. Like I just took one bite of it. I think I just took one bite of it, and you launched me. It was like you're like, you better not fucking do it. And I was all bam, and you're all fucking launched me.
Later.
Dude, I just Clay Matthews, dude, like into the dirt.
Oh my god, there's so many goddamn stories. All right,
3 hours.
Oh yeah, we're at 3.5 hours. Probably do another 3, and then we'll just call it.
All right, I'm good. Let's do it.
Andrew's face. He's like, shit.
Dude, Andrew, this was rad as shit, dude. I had a great time tonight, dude.
Yeah, dude. I had a great time too. Thank you to Chris Barnes for getting me onto this program. I'm sorry that I made Joel think that I was kidding. The whole time I was telling him that I wanted to come on, because this is exactly why I wanted to come on, just to hang out and fucking talk with you guys.
Oh yeah, man. I love it
in a fun way. We should also like have fun. Not necessarily. We don't have to be on podcasts to get together and have fun.
Yeah, let's not do. Yeah, let's like do inhuman.
I know
in-person things.
Yeah,
like or calling just give me a call.
I would love.
Could you give me a call? I miss you, Andrew. You're older than me.
Reunion. I am older than you.
Then you should probably
die first.
What was the last time?
What's that? Go ahead.
We all hung out. The last time was at the listening party for synesthesia. No.
It was at
2020, right before COVID happened.
It was right before COVID down.
Oh, that's right.
Silly Kid and I came down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember it now.
Yep. And Joel and Trevor were there, and we went to see Tool the next day.
Yeah, and fucking Silly Kid, like Chiefs were losing by 24, and Silly Kid's like, "Let me go eat. I just need to go eat." And he was like, we took him to go eat, and he did a little prayer on me. He's all, no. And then the Chiefs came back immediately. And he's all, dude, I gave you the magic. It's all good. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the Packers were going to play the Seahawks right after that game, playoffs, and you and I had plans to hang out and watch it. And he's like, no, we're going back to LA right now. I was like, shut up. And he was just like, no. And I had to listen to half the fucking game, like, in the car. So he can't come to the next hangout. That's obviously a fact. I hope he's listening right now, just so that he understands this documentation. This is legal documentation. I'm going to fucking sign it. Notice to Silly Kid, no hanging out with the Cali Death podcast crew next time when we get together. But I'm going to drive to Santa Cruz. It's such a short drive. So I'm going to come hang. Going to hang out. I just Anthony has to come down. You're still in Pacifica?
Dude. Well, I'm.
If you ever pull the trigger on buying a house,
whatever,
you're
in
close the middle of buying a house. But dude, either way, dude, if you're 100% going to be in Santa Cruz, I'll make my way down there somehow.
All right,
no doubt.
Yeah, he does. When there's a thing, Anthony shows up.
When there's a thing, I come.
He shows up. He makes it work.
I like to be at the things, dude.
If Casey wants to roll up to LA, I'll drive the both of us up there.
Yeah, I miss all you guys. That was the last. That hangout was actually one of the more fun hangouts I've had in a long time. And then COVID hit right after, and then it was just like nothing for 2 years. You know, that was like my coup de grace to fucking hanging out. I was like, I was super bummed after having that like positive and fun of a hangout, and then it's like, can't hang out with anyone. I was like, shit,
go to
dude.
Some cool shows right before,
yeah. But anyways, love you, Andrew.
Dude, Andrew, this is fucking great, dude. I already told you it was great, but I want you to know again that it was great, and we love all the listeners, all the people that were in the chat with us tonight. Support us by liking all our shit and subscribing to all our shit. We're on all the shit. Andrew is a badass lawyer, and he wants you to go commit some crimes so he can get you out of them. No, I'm just joking. But Gypsyhawk is a band that he was. What up? That's me in the studio. Gypsyhawk's a band that if you want to check out, dude, we all know where this shit started. Heavy metal, dude, and he plays some sick heavy metal that makes you want to party, dude. And I'm not just saying that just because. I'm genuinely saying I had a great time with Gypsyhawk in the last week. I want to keep listening to it. Beer in hand, it seems like that's how you got to do it. So
it's one way to do it. And man, I'm surprised you guys didn't ask me to drop any dirt, and I'm kind of glad you didn't, because that we've been doing here for a long time. But
maybe part 2 you can give us some dirt, dude.
Yeah, we can do a dirty episode. We can do a dirty non-live dirty episode, so we can make sure
non-live dirty episode. Maybe that'll be our first like Patreon thing, dude. We started.
That's a good idea. A paid episode. If you want me to really talk about
behind
some
the
shit
paywall, and then
are we still alive or no?
We are.
We're alive. I think we're
alive. Yeah. Yeah. I'll definitely. Hey, everybody who's listening, if you want to hear some of the truth about your favorite record labels and your favorite life touring and what all your dreams coming true, I'll fucking destroy all that real quick.
That's our first Patreon
but you have to pay.
Right there.
You gotta pay the Cali Death podcast. Definitely make out the check to Andrew Packer, and then I'll make sure they get it. I'll put it in the secondary account. That's what I have to do as an attorney, and it's all good. It's all legal, dude. Totally.
That's great. Yeah.
I'll tell all the dirt, but in the meantime, I'm gonna I got a podcast, Anthony, or not a podcast, a playlist. I'm gonna send you if you dug the Gypsyhawk stuff. I got one, so you can.
Why don't you send me one?
I thoroughly enjoyed what I listened to, so
I'll send you a before podcast,
dude.
I definitely want to. I asked fucking Trevor to send me a playlist. He's like, "Why do you have my playlist?" I guess it was gonna be all like fucking spoken word Howard Zinn and Noam Chomsky shit.
It'd be like
I don't fucking know.
It would be like from the newest 3 Aesop Rock albums or something like that.
Dude. Well, you want to do Shakespeare for fun? I'm like, no, I don't want to fucking decode Aesop Rock, dude.
I want to. Trevor's a good-looking man, and he's smart. And so I was like, I want to hear what you listen to. You listen to Sleep Token and Vigor and all the crazy shit. Like I want to know what's up. All I've been listening to is like synth shit and like film score. Like you guys like Disaster Piece, like the It Follows score. Like I love the fact that you can like be creative and not good at music and like make cool music. All you need is like cool like plugins on your computer. It's rad, but he's all like into like Primus bass stuff combined with like Whitney Houston, and I'm like, okay, I want to hear what that's all about.
That actually sounds pretty sick, though, dude.
But I got the cool.
It's like a fucking Ebo.
So I got the playlist for I got the Trevor playlist, and I definitely have the Anthony playlist all lined up, and I'll give it
down,
to
dude. I'm definitely down.
Is it all Sleep Tech?
And I'm down for whatever else you're into. I want to know what you're really bumping, dude. That'd be cool to just check out a playlist that you're currently into. You know, don't just feed me stuff like I'm these guys, because I listen to everything, dude. So that's what's up, dude. Check me out with the palm trees in the background. What up?
I'm drunk. I'm clicking things out. We have to.
Well, that's a two-way street, so I also want to know what's going on. Because
okay,
you know what happens with two-way streets? Oh, I thought it was another train running into another train. God damn it!
That's still pretty cool.
That would have been incredible if you had brought that up that fast after I said that.
I mean,
it's AI, dude.
I still give you props for pulling it up that quick, dude.
Yes. Yeah, that was semi-incredible.
I appreciate it.
All right. Love you guys so much, dude. I had a really good time with all of y'all.
This is awesome. Thank you guys. If I need to pay fucking Mohammed Susamez
if you
to get me on the next one,
if you could,
then I'll do it.
I'll pitch
him
1,000 on
come
it.
on himself, and you just shepherd him on, dude, and just be like, "What up, dude? I'm here too."
Yeah,
that's
the only Muhammad.
Get him
we're coming for you, Muhammad.
Muhammad's up
next.
next.
And yes,
we're doing a side quest.
Side quest.